He is the greatest shooter in basketball today. The Iceman, George Gervin of the San Antonio Spurs, who in each of his last 10 NBA games has scored better than 30 points. Today, Gervin and the Spurs are matched against an all-star cast of the Atlanta Hawks, including powerful forward Danny Roundfield, who stands as one of the finest rebounders in the game today. It's Atlanta and San Antonio with first place at stake on CBS.
The NBA on CBS is sponsored by Lowenbrau Special and Dark Special when it's time for the taste of a truly great American beer. Avis, featuring new 7-day and weekend Super Saver rates. Avis tries harder. Sylvania, makers of Superset Color TV and a complete line of home entertainment products. And by Allstate Insurance Companies. You're in good hands with Allstate.
From the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, Texas, it's the NBA Game of the Week on CBS. The Atlanta Hawks and the San Antonio Spurs. We have got a sellout crowd on hand this afternoon, and they have broken out those nasty black hankies, not letting the Pittsburgh Steelers get away with a thing. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. Welcome to San Antonio. What a dandy we've got on hand for you today. 12 days ago, San Antonio was going in reverse. They lost a couple of games to the Atlanta Hawks, and they were 5 games out of first place. Take a look at the standings now in the Central Division. Atlanta with only a game lead on San Antonio as the Spurs have come on with a rush. And last night, the Hawks held off the Chicago Bulls and then traveled in here for that game. And I'll tell you what a pleasure it is for me today. It came up a little bit cold here in San Antonio, so he couldn't get himself a good tee-off time. So we got the big fella, Bill Russell. And Bill, what would you do to defend the marvelous talents of George Gervin?
Well, I'd probably steal his car before he got started. At least you might go to jail, but you wouldn't get embarrassed.
We've got a key matchup at center. Billy Paultz is gone, and young Sylvester Norris has to start in there against Tree Rollins.
Yes, both of these guys are big, strong guys. They both are pretty good rebounders. And the key to San Antonio's turning it around has been their work on the offensive boards.
I have to tell you that both coaches stopped by and inquired if Bill felt like playing today, but he said, no, I'm going to sit right over here. But one of the men who's got a coach, and he does a marvelous job, is Hubie Brown. He's standing by with Hot Rod. Let's go to Hot Rod now.
All right, thank you, Brent. Hubie, the fans, the excitement is here. It's pro basketball, and your club has beaten this team 6 out of the last 7 times. How are you doing it?
I don't know, right? I think we've been quite fortunate to hold them to a very low shooting percentage, usually under 40%. Plus, you got to hit the offensive boards, because if you let them get out on the break, they're just going to crucify you going one-on-one.
And how do you play George Gervin, the NBA's leading scorer?
I don't think there's an answer for that. All we try to do is give George his 24 shots and hope to God that we can hold him to about a 30, maybe 36 to 40% shooting percentage. And that way we got a fairly good chance.
All right, good luck to you today, Hugh.
Thanks a lot, Rod.
All right, let's go back to Brent Musburger.
All right, Hot Rod, thank you very much. I don't even recognize Doug Moe, the coach of the Spurs. Broke out the 3-piece suit, really looking good today, Coach. I want to go back to the Billy Paultz trade. Why'd you decide to make that move and send Paultz to Houston and bring John Shoemate in here, Doug?
Well, we weren't going very good. Billy was struggling a little bit. I was getting on him. He was losing confidence. We'd always liked Shoemate, but again, we weren't sure because he hadn't played in a long time, but we felt it was time to make the trade and take the gamble, and that's basically quickly the reason we did it.
You bring Shoemate off the bench to replace the youngster when he gets in foul trouble. Has that been how you've handled that so far?
In foul trouble, or if the youngster isn't playing real good right away, we come right in with Shoemate, and he's been great for the first 4 games, and we look for him to do it the rest of the year.
I'll tell you, the one man who really stands tall is George Gervin, the Iceman, shooting for his 3rd straight NBA scoring title. He's standing by with Hot Rod Hundley. Let's go to them now.
Okay, George. Coach Hubie Brown of Atlanta says there's no stopping you. He's going to let you have those points. But you personally, what about trying to beat this ball club? They've beaten you 6 times out of the last 7.
Well, we'll have to really get everybody involved in our offense. Well, it's not really about stopping me. It's me getting everybody involved and getting everything going, and then I'll just go ahead and, do my job.
How about your team as a whole? Are you a better club than Atlanta, in your opinion?
Most definitely, and I'm quite sure we're going to dethrone the Hawks today and take our rightfully #1 spot.
How about Mr. Keenan? Is he going to play?
Well, we don't know. Larry's back is still bothering. We hope to get him in today, but if not, we hope he just sit out and rest and come back when we really need him.
Okay, George. Good luck. All right, let's go back to the starting lineup. Here's Brent Musburger.
Thank you very much, Hot Rod. We are just about ready to go. It's Atlanta, San Antonio, and starting today for the Hawks, who played a game last night in Atlanta and then traveled in here, will be a couple 3 All-Stars. Eddie Johnson at guard, Danny Roundfield at forward, and John Drew at forward. All are members of the Eastern Conference All-Star team, whom you will see next Sunday on CBS. Hill and Rollins round out the starting lineup. For Doug Moe and the Spurs, it's the Iceman, George Gervin. But he's not alone in that backcourt. James Silas with a lot of firepower. There's the young man Bill Russell spoke about. Sylvester Norris, the rookie from Jackson State, will start at center. Kevin Rustani and Griffin will be the starting forwards as we await to see if Larry Keenan will be able to go at all today. And the officials for this afternoon's contest, we have got Darryl Gerritsen along with Lee Jones. They'll be working the game here today. So far this year, the Spurs and the Hawks have met 4 times, and the Hawks have won 3 of them, including those back-to-back victories just 12 days ago. Hubie Brown huddling with the tough, tenacious Hawks who don't give you a thing.
Hey, how'd you like to play down here, Russ?
I get earplugs, I can tell you that.
They whoop it up here, don't they, Brent?
They sure do. We've got another sellout on hand. I was in here Friday night and scouted the Seattle-San Antonio game, and it was wild then as the world champion Supersonics were beaten back by the Spurs. George Gervin with 39 points on Friday night. Earlier in the week, 55 points against the Indiana Pacers. I think Russ was right. Steal his car and don't let him get to the area.
Don't let him show up. Let's say one thing about Atlanta, Brent. I know that you're happy to hear this, that they had a sellout last night after losing 5 straight games on the road. Came home and played Chicago before a sellout.
Now the man to watch against George Gervin will be Armand Hill. In talking to George before the game, he said, and I'm sure we'll get some good shots of Armand's hands, that Armand will try to get the ball down low and slap it away from George. George wants his passes a little bit higher against Atlanta. He wants to go to the shot right now. Gervin, even though he's leading the league, was out here for 45 minutes, practicing one shot after another. Here we go. Rollins tapped it, and it's controlled by the Hawks. Past Eddie Johnson to Roundfield. Rebound Spurs, and it's Gervin. Kevin Rustani. Lost to James Silas. Rollins rebound.
What the San Antonio Spurs like to do is work the ball on one side and to get the defense, especially the defense like the Hawks, to drop into the middle, and they use the short court passes, weak side shots mostly.
Rollins is short, and Gervin's second rebound. Rustani's open.
He can hit Brent for a big guy. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but since coming to this club, he's been given a chance to play. And the last couple of games, he's played just great for San Antonio.
Armand Hill of Princeton controlling the ball on the right side for the Hawks. Goes cross court to Fast Eddie Johnson. Roundfield, a fine rebounder.
Norris did a good job there of intimidating that drive by Johnson, but Roundfield's a fine offensive rebounder.
Gervin comes to the right side, and Rustani with a great block. He'd make an offensive tackle on that move, and
that was a good block. It was moving a little bit.
Well, Gervin's off and running. He's got his 2 already.
Hubie Brown up shouting instruction. He'll coach this game from the first second to the last.
You know, one of the biggest matchups is the coaching philosophy. San Antonio's philosophy seems to be, let's have a shootout, we'll outshoot you. And Atlanta, they seem to think that they have to scrap and fight for everything. So that's really contrast there.
Silas got it back from Griffin. Knocked away by Hill. Norris slows it down. Silas moving in, and he was fouled as he tried to come around the corner.
You know, Silas was almost put on waivers a couple of years ago because he got injured, and it took a long time for him to come back. And just last half of last year and the first part of this year, he's really starting to play the way he used to play. He used to be really tough, and he's coming back to that.
Knocked away from Rastani. Armand Hill. It's 2-on-1, and Hill will go down. It was John Drew. Taken away by Johnson, and Drew had the ball. That was not Hill. I made a mistake. Drew was coming down the middle, and Norris fouled him.
He was watching him all the way down. Drew had his eye on Norris, but he knew the ball was going to be blocked. You'd see him look over his shoulder. He went up, tried to dunk it. Norris made a good block, but got him with a body coming down, so he'll get a couple of free throws. John Drew. There's a guy that came from nowhere, Gardner Webb College. No one had ever heard of him, and was scouted by Gene Tarmolin. Ended up being one of the top forwards in basketball.
And he'll be a starter next Sunday. The NBA All-Star game. John Drew and Julius Erving, the Philadelphia 76ers, will be starting at forward. So we are tied at 4 with 9 minutes and 56 seconds to go, first period.
Now you see Atlanta go into a lot of different kinds of defenses because they don't feel that they have. It's not going to be easy, so they use traps, they use full-court presses. They call it switching man-to-man, but it's mostly a zone.
How about that tip in by James Salas on the run with the left hand?
Mullins, top of the circle.
That's funny, those two big guys out there guard each other, and they know he can't shoot from that far out.
Rolls the hook off the rebound.
That's where he should be, in there. The arrogant spin out past the foul line for the big guys, you know.
Where you belong.
Traveling, and the Spurs have turned it over. George Gervin was determined to get some shooting space that time and charge it into the middle. He took that extra step, so it'll go to the Hawks.
Shots almost impossible to stop him. 6'7", being a guard. He's the biggest guard in pro basketball, and he can shoot from anywhere, and he can put the ball on the floor.
I would think that he and Magic Johnson are about the same size.
Johnson.
Magic's a little bit bigger, I think, about 6'8".
Well, they'll square off next Sunday. Magic will be a starter for the Western Conference All-Stars. Griffin goes down. There's Silas. Rastani.
Pretty good zone in there.
Griffin. And Drew tied him up, and we'll have a jump ball.
Rod.
It's not a zone?
No, call it a switching man-to-man, okay? They say that zone's illegal, and we wouldn't want to accuse these people of doing anything illegal.
Johnson saves it. Silas with a hand on it, and Drew came back over the top of it. John Drew with a loose ball foul.
You know, these two teams are approaching this game like it's a playoff game.
Griffin coming inside, and Drew with the second foul.
Drew will get fouls in a hurry. That's one of his problems defensively. It's happened many times. Hubie Brown talking to a couple players that will be coming on here probably in a moment.
George Gervin's reach saved it. Sent back to Hill, 24. Gervin with Hill. Roundfield rolls inside, and Armand's layup, and there's goaltending.
That's good call.
Now, what Atlanta's philosophy is, is to make George Gervin and James Silas play defense. So you're going to see a lot of penetration by the Atlanta guards. That was a goaltending there.
He's still missing. Gets it up to Roundfield, who pressured the glass and stayed with it the second time. Back to Drew.
I think Norris doing a good job in there, intimidating. He didn't block the shots twice, but he got the hand up there.
You know, one of the hardest things to teach a big guy playing in the defense in the middle is not to try to block all the shots, is to try to use intimidation and get the rebound. sometimes. You know, you vary it so that the guys can't, you're not so predictable.
And Gervin is up with 4 points now. He had 11 early against Seattle on Friday night. Drew was back of Griffin, took the pass.
He's awfully good, Brett, down low. He'll try and get through the ball. With Griffin's at 6'9", Drew's only about 6'7", but he's got quick moves close to the basket.
3 team fouls on the Hawks, 1 against the Spurs. Gervin came up and Hill slapping him fouled.
That's what Hill said he tried to do, and that's what Gervin said he tried to do, is to get the ball low, because once Gervin gets the ball over his head, you can forget it.
Here's where he got him with the hand, Brett. He'll reach in and slap down at the ball as Gervin goes for the shot. Right there, the foul. We got a timeout.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hey, where you been? Well, it wasn't easy getting tickets for this game.
Yeah, Bob.
Eddie, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest steak you've got and a bottle of Lowenbrow. Steak and Lowenbrow. Dolan, you're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the bartender.
By trying harder to be faster, Avis came up with the Wizard of Avis.
Keep on trying, America. The effort is really everything. We keep on trying, America.
By trying harder, we introduced speed to the rent-a-car business.
At Avis, we don't give up. Trying.
Not for 1 year, or even for 2, but for 3 years in a row. One 19-inch color TV has challenged America's biggest sellers, RCA and Zenith. And every year, independent surveys show the Sylvania Superset, the clear winner for best overall color picture. Isn't it time you found out why Sylvania keeps winning and winning and winning? The Sylvania Superset. We may not be the biggest, but a lot of people think we've got the best picture.
Coming next on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see same-day coverage of the European Figure Skating Championships and more. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Last night, Atlanta beat the Bulls 109-104. It was Indiana over Cleveland by a point, and Houston is edging up in that Central Division race. They are now 3 games behind Atlanta. Seattle's lead over Los Angeles was trimmed to a game with that loss. Meanwhile, Denver down Portland 196. Kansas City beat Utah 112-107. And so far, the Spurs here today have hit 4 of 8. Atlanta 6 of 13. So both teams have shot well. One of the factors coming into the game is, of course, Atlanta playing last night and then traveling here. But if there's any team in the league that can come back, it would be the Atlanta Hawks. Hubie Brown likes to use his bench. He'll go to 10 men. And one other thing, I have never seen the Hawks quit under Hubie Brown.
They have out-rebounded San Antonio 7-4 to this point in the game.
Well, Atlanta's philosophy is to play the tough defense, but to make sure that everybody pounds the boards and make sure that they only get 1 shot. And that's and if they're playing good defense and make you shoot under 50%, and especially the kind of shots that San Antonio likes to use, the 20-foot jump shot, you should be able to get a pretty good lead on them, because the transition will not be as well from offense to defense because they're taking 20-foot jump shots.
And one of the things that makes Danny Roundfield so tough is that last basket he just hit here at the top of the key. He's a fine rebounder, but if you slough off, he'll burn you outside with that shot. Drew coming in, and Griffin had tightened up the defense, and Griffin fouled him.
He's too quick for Griffin close, so he's got to have help. And Drew, again, you'll watch, he'll go down low on that left side, and they'll try and get him the ball.
Paul Griffin out of Western Michigan, 3rd year in the NBA. They move it over to Johnson, who maneuvers. Rollins battling. The Hawks are staying at the rebounding end. Taken down by Griffin finally, and it's off to ice. Here comes Gervin, whirling inside. John Shoemate is in rebounding position, and he was fouled.
Since coming to this club, San Antonio's won 4 straight with John Shoemate, and he's played super ball. He made a good move here. He went in, grabbed the rebound and was shoved from behind as he tried to get the chip in. He had control of it, so it's a shooting foul. 2 free throws for John Shoemate.
Here's the former Notre Dame star who has come back from one health problem after another and has given this club a big lift. He was greeted in San Antonio by a standing ovation. He was quite touched by it because the trade that brought him here was roundly criticized by the press in this city. Billy Pultz was a big favorite. But the crowd fell in behind John Shoemate, and this club seems to have come together here in the last couple of weeks. Rollins out high. Drew.
That's how he got down low. He got gripping on his heels, backpedaling, and just raised up and shot over him.
When Johnson was injured, Hubie needed more offensive firepower out of Drew, the kind of start like he's had here today. Shue with a high bounce, didn't get the roll. And Johnson for the Hawks. He's quick. And as he came in, offensive foul is called.
Got him for charge on the play. They bottled up the middle there, took him away. He had Drew on the left side, but didn't give it up.
I believe Larry Keenan is up and is going to try it. Over alongside the Spurs bench with Tom Bass and Doug Moe. Johnson tightens up, and now Silas rolls around the screen by Shoemate. There he is. So Larry Keenan will try it here this afternoon. Playing with a painful back injury. Mark Olberding is slowed by an ankle injury. Roundfield.
I think if one player on this club that's made a big difference for Atlanta, it's Dan Roundfield. Ever since they got him in a trade, they have really been a top ball club because he plays at both ends and plays hard.
Hill is fronting Gervin and doing a good job, and Shoemate, who was looking for him, rolled with a left-hander. And here comes the man whose tough defense has been a factor. Bad pass by Hill.
That was a very good one. Well, he had a good one there, too, 3-on-1.
That's why a lot of coaches make sure they got to stop at the foul line. Come to a jump stop, then you can make that pass. There's no excuse for throwing the ball away on the fast break or 3-on-1 especially.
Silas in low, sent it back to Shoemate. And they wanted goaltending on that.
That was a good block, though.
Rollins with a heck of an effort. Hill dishes to the right, and Roundfield, powerful move that time.
Now Atlanta's fast breaking them. That's because the type of shots that San Antonio's taking, the transition from offense to defense is just too difficult to keep up. That's the reason that Atlanta's getting so many fast breaks.
Offensive foul against Larry Keenan, and on the turnover it'll go back to the Hawks. Evans has checked in.
There's Larry Keenan. You see him running underneath as Drew comes out to play him.
Just a slight elbow. He didn't really, he didn't dent his shirt a whole lot.
Roundfield with 8 points, Drew with 8 points, and George Gervin with 6 points here in the first period. And here's Armand. Pass deflected, Johnson. Shoemate going up with Rollins. And it's against Trey. San Diego trailing Boston in the Boston Garden 21-16. The Celtics have a new player. Pete Maravich will be off the injured list sometime next week. Gary Bender interviewed Maravich, and you'll see that at halftime today. We'll find out how Pistol Pete feels about going to Boston, whether or not he's going to be playing much at all because of that injured knee.
Now, for a team like San Antonio to stay in this game, they're going to have to rebound much better because on a guard-oriented offense, the shots are going to be longer shots. And if you don't pound the boards, then the defense gets a free rebound, so to speak, and that first pass is the most important pass on the fast break.
That's always been one of their weaknesses, Brent. They're not that strong a rebounding club. They just get the ball and run. They can shoot from anywhere and get a lot of points, but very little defense.
He's hot, isn't he? 10 points early for Roundfield. Here comes Ice, and Hill is right there with him, bumping and shoving, and Ice turned inside on him. Taken down by Shoemate, what Russell said they had to have, and he was met by Roundfield as he came up.
That was some play there.
That's one-on-one basketball. He just took it right to him. When Shoemate put the ball on the floor, and there's power in there, and Roundfield does not back off.
He said, now take this.
Let's take that one. I've seen that one before. A few years ago.
Lownfield is 6'8", 210 out of Central Michigan. 4th year in the league, and he was a key free agent a couple of years ago. As he left Indiana, several teams wanted him because they knew how valuable he was. One of those players who has not received a lot of publicity, but the coaches in the league knew how good he was. He's 5 of 8 from the field as Shoemate's free throw spins in and out. And Chicago leading the Nets by 6 early in the first.
The old Rhodes Scholars coming on.
Tommy McMillan with 3:15 to go, first period.
Out of the University of Maryland.
Steve Hawes.
Are you a Rhodes Scholar? Does that make you prematurely gray? Or if you're prematurely gray, that makes you a Rhodes Scholar?
24 to 18. Hawks over the Spurs. Early going. Olberding was on McMillan, and Tommy was pushing him inside. And Olberding was a little too tight on him, and Darryl Garrettson whistled the foul. Both teams.
He said you can't use your hands that way.
I tell you, he had a big one, Olberding.
The Hawks are over the limit. That's 3 team fouls on the Spurs. Nice pass to Drew. Comes Mike Evans, formerly of Kansas State. Keenan. One shot for the Spurs.
And this is why Atlanta's in first place, is that they get everything they can out of the guys that got out there. They know that they play the essential part of the game.
Back to Haas, who bobbles, and a foul call.
And what I mean by the essential part is that they play the strong defense and make sure that the team only gets one shot. And that's it.
This could have turned out much worse, but I have enough Allstate homeowners insurance so our house can be built again. But if I had died here, it would have been a real disaster. My wife couldn't have afforded the mortgage payments. She probably would have had to sell. That's why I'm getting Allstate Mortgage Protection Life Insurance. It'll help them have a debt-free home if I die. This time I was lucky. I'm still alive.
Do you have both homeowners and mortgage protection life insurance? You're in good hands with Allstate.
A message from Exxon. This year, Exxon plans to spend more than $6.5 billion to find, develop, and distribute new energy, exploring for oil and gas, mining coal, on synthetic fuels, solar energy, much more. $6.5 billion by one company in 1 year. As much as that is, it will take more than one company's efforts to solve all of our energy problems. But Exxon is helping to solve some of them, because energy is our business.
A big green football team, an endless yellow sea, a cherry pie, an orange sky, the bluest eyes you'll ever see. Yes, America's true colors come through on GE.
GE TV brings you America's colors vivid and lifelike, and our special VIR2 circuit adjusts the color automatically.
Yes, America's true colors come through on GE. GE, we bring good things to life.
Next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, see the stars come out. The 1980 NBA All-Star Game. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
And you will meet the East and West All-Stars at halftime of this game. We are back live in San Antonio. I'm Brent Musburger with Bill Russell and Hot Rod Hundley. 2 minutes and 34 seconds to go. First period, 26-18, Hawks over the Spurs.
You know, the Spurs are only shooting 33%. And they're 8 points down, but this is the leading offensive team in the NBA. And so they're in pretty good shape, actually, although they're being outplayed at this point.
They're also being out-rebounded, 13-7.
I'm glad you brought that up for you. I'd like to know that a guard understands how important rebounding is.
Charlie Crist checks in. 5'8" for the Atlanta Hawks, and Drew misses for the first time in this game and went right back in after it. Keenan over his back. Drew is fouled.
John Drew is one of the best offensive rebounders in basketball. You must block him off the board. Here he takes the shot, and he'll go right back after it. Everybody looking at the ball and not blocking out, and Drew will sneak in and get the ball right there, go back up, and he's fouled. 2 free throws for John Drew. Out of Gardner-Webb College of North Carolina.
That's 11 points here for Drew.
Rod, how long have you known where Gardner-Webb was?
Evans saving the dribble. Gives it to Keenan. Up here to George Gervin and loses it now, and Haas on the turnover. Here comes little Charlie Chris. A valuable man who can play both of those guard spots, as Hubie Brown was explaining prior to the start of this game, if you're wondering why he's still on a roster. He can be a point man, and off guard, does a lot of things for Hubie. McMillan against the pressure, went to the glass.
Use a lot of quirky head and shoulder fakes. Get that ball away.
Golden State ahead of Washington by a point. Hubie yelling defensive instructions.
You come out here and get him. Talking about Gervin. That's a job.
Nixon, Detroit are tied. Olberding had it knocked away. Sent it back to Shoemake. Short. Keenan. Shoemake gave it up, and Ice
faked like he was going to lean in. He made a good pass to John Shoemake. Perfect feed.
That is tough defense that the Atlanta Hawks are throwing against the San Antonio Spurs. George Gervin had a lot more shooting opportunities against Seattle than I've seen him have here against Atlanta. Double team the ball. Go to the open man. Chris maneuvers inside. There's a whistle. It's against Evans. And now checking in for the Atlanta Hawks, James McElroy, number 33. He came from Detroit in that trade for Butch Lee. Hubie telling us before the game that he wanted more firepower. That's why they went for McElroy. They tried to get him prior to his signing with Detroit, but he selected the Pistons.
He's a very capable outside shooter. Right when he played for the Jazz when they were in New Orleans, he could hit that long jump shot. He's got great range outside.
And the Hawks stay ahead now, 32-20 over the Spurs.
Now, what the Hawks try to do is interfere with the tempo. They don't let you run a play. The key to running a play is timing. And so they change all these, they use a lot of different defenses so that they can throw the tempo off. So the timing's not good, and that's why the plays are not, that's why they're not getting real good shots.
That time they had trouble with their timing, and they were finally able to get it to Keenan. But just as Bill was explaining, it has been a frustrating afternoon here so far for this attack.
What has happened, they're getting shots where they want to get them, but not when they want to get them. And that throws you off just as much as shooting out of position.
Haas maneuvers inside. Olberding the rebound. Spurs trying to back up field goals here, something they have not done much without Atlanta missing.
They're going to look for the last shot. 15 seconds left in the quarter. And I think this man with the ball may take it.
What makes you think that, Rod?
Here it goes.
Inside move, hanging, saved by Keenan. As time runs out, Larry Keenan scores for the San Antonio Spurs, but it's 32-24. The Hawks are ahead of the home team, and of course they lead them by a game in the Central Division, with Houston coming up from behind.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
How you holding up? I'm all right. You want to go for 10 miles? If we make it, I'll buy you a beer. If we make it, I'll buy you a Lowenbrow.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Is the American Motors Spirit worth $5 more than Chevette?
Let's compare. Chevette would have to be a lot wider to give you the same front seat comfort as Spirit. Spirit's 21-gallon gas tank is bigger, too. Think about that this weekend. And Spirit has Z-Bart factory rust protection, plus the only full 5-year no-rust-through warranty. American Motors Spirit. It lists for $5 more than Chevette, but it's worth it.
American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow.
I'm Paul Silas, and at my age in my business, I'm considered an old man. It's really not fair, but I'm convinced one thing keeps me going in the NBA. Plenty of good cardiovascular exercise with the whole family. When exercise is fun, you'll do it for life. That's why we like to swim, ride bikes, and play racket sports. Ask your doctor about cardiovascular exercise. Remember, the American Heart Association is fighting for your life.
The preceding message has been furnished as a public service by the National Basketball Association.
Name that mascot. Bill, you and Hot Rod want to try that game?
Don't name him, just give him a beer.
Nobody will be able to take it away from him.
So we start period 2 with the Spurs in white trailing the Hawks and their traveling Reds 32-24 here in the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio. James Silas is 13.
Well, they deny the ball. The Hawks, good team defense.
Evans missing, loose ball foul underneath. McMillan was pressuring Olberding.
Watch the contact inside. McMillan jacking in here with Shoemate away from the basketball. That's what we're talking about. They'll switch you out. They'll help 2 men right there, and McMillan blocks away, and you got the foul call.
Spurs were held to 40% in that first period, 8 of 20. The Hawks were 13 of 26, 50%. Silas maneuver.
Now that was a tough shot. He made it, but that was a tough shot. And if you keep shooting tough shots, your percentage is going to go down bad enough to take you out of the game, maybe.
Many of the experts in the old ABA said that Silas was at one time the best guard in the league.
Offensive foul as McMillan rolled in on the turnover. It'll go to the Spurs.
There you go again, McMillan. Olberding takes a little pick there. And McMillan crashes in on the play.
Was that little Charlie Chris who picked him off?
Hey, he doesn't know he's that little. He picked the biggest guy on the court to block. Pretty good block on him, too.
He's closer to the floor than anybody in the league, too. 5'8". Well, you know what Hubie means when he can do a little bit of everything.
Shoemate gives it up to Olberding. 32-28, a 4-point Hawk lead, and the Spurs are coming now.
Yeah, with a team as good as the Spurs are offensively, you can't ever let up. You just got to keep working, keep working.
Oz puts it to the floor, sends it back to Jack Gibbons. And McMillan with an offensive rebound, and he's fouled and scored for the Hawks.
Well, he's playing with enthusiasm. That's a fine move, getting inside. McMillan grabbed it and got away with going down with it and going back up. But he got the field goal.
You know, the 3 members of the Atlanta Hawks were born on May 26th. Tom McMillan, whom you're looking at, Dan Roundfield, and Steve Hodge. And there's a 4th person here who was born on May 26th.
Brent Musburger.
That's right. All Geminis.
Well, we'll remove that date from our calendar.
Silas foul as he pushed the shot up on high.
Well, before the shot, well retained possession. The Hawks on offensive rebounds have 7. The Spurs with 5. Each team has scored 8 points off rebounds.
Shoemate takes the inbounds pass. Here's James Silas. Came up and fouled by McElroy, and McElroy did not like that call.
That was a good call, though, and Silas smartly leaned into him to force the contact as he got the shot away, and Mack came over him for the foul. He played with Roundfield at Central Michigan. They were teammates, Dan Roundfield and Jimmy McElroy.
What do you do between games, Rod?
I'm getting all this info for you. They had another teammate, Ben Poquette, who's now with the Utah Jazz. That's a pretty good college team.
And it is McElroy.
McElroy, right.
$35-30 now. 10:30 to go, first half.
Where did they finish in the conference, Rod?
I don't know how many they want.
Chris sliding inside. Pretty play by Charlie Chris. He simply hid that time.
He should have never got that one away. A good big defensive center should have blocked that shot.
Silas missing, and Shoemate with an offensive rebound. Waits for Evans. Gibbons. Here comes Chris. Don't you love him? 5'8", sends it to Jack Gibbons. Bounce pass to Steve Hodge. Sends it back to Chris. Left baseline.
Take that, big fella. He had a switch. He said, let me take the big guy outside.
Chicago leading the Nets by 4 in the second. Silas inside. Waited for the defensive man to go past and then score.
With a very difficult shot. He had to use some language to spin it around and get it off the backboard to get the field goal.
And that's 10 here in the first half for Silas. Givens. Loose ball underneath.
Helen shoving. We're in a penalty situation. Free throws will be taken.
Kevin Rustani checks back in, and Larry Keenan will sit down. That's 3 fouls on Tom McMillan, who was protesting. We're going to have a timeout here in San Antonio. 9 minutes and 14 seconds to go. 39-32. The Hawks over the Spurs.
Little hand this back for that foul.
Just a little hand.
Just a little. We got a timeout.
If your kid's a hot shot, tell him come on and play. Game sponsored by Pepsi Cola and the NBA. Hot Shot is the name of the game, and it could land him in the Hall of Fame.
Come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on and play the Pepsi way. Come on, Hot Shot, hey, you're on your way.
Who knows? Someday your kid will be another Big O. Oh, better!
Big versus Track 2. Who's kidding who?
You're testing Big against Track 2. Good luck.
Big against Track 2? I can tell the difference blindfolded.
The results of the Bic Barber test surprised a lot of people. 58% found Bic shape equal to or better than Track 2's.
I can't tell them apart.
Big, I'm impressed.
Bic, I apologize.
Most men we tested felt
no difference.
And the price?
Big difference.
The incredible 19 3/4 cent Bic.
Now through March 27th, if you pay the regular coach fare on American Airlines, you can take along your spouse for 50% off.
This is really nice, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You always get great service on American.
I mean saving 50%. The kids could have come along for 60% off.
Maybe next time. This is our trip.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
You saw it on CBS Sports. 1966, at the World's Figure Skating Championships, young Peggy Fleming showed the world the style and grace that would win the gold at Grenoble 2 years later. Coming next on the CBS Sports Spectacular, don't miss the exciting conclusion of the European Figure Skating Championships. Then part 2 of the Daredevil Showdown in the Motorcycle Jump Challenge match. Plus a preview of the World's Lightweight Championship fight featuring Danny Red Lopez. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
The Lone Star State. They like their hats and jeans and boots down here, how about
it? Jalapeno peppers.
Rebounding edge still for the Hawks, 16-11 over the Spurs. And the Hawks are blazing away at 52%, the Spurs at 42%.
Here's a guy that could have played a couple other sports. Mark Oberding, he is big. We're in a penalty, and that was the first of 2.
He left Minnesota early, so in effect, he's just a baby in the NBA.
He's a big baby.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to call him that to his face, come to think of it. He's playing with an injured ankle. If you see him limping down the floor on your screen, you'll know why. Chris maneuvering, threw it back to Rollins, who was rolling. Oberding in behind him, and the foul is called on Mike.
When the Classic plays with basketball, it's pick and roll. It's a real good pick. Here's a good pick. Now roll to the basket. He got hit pretty good, too.
Chris made a nice pass.
Yes.
Oberding says, I didn't touch him. I hit him.
Paul Griffin checks in, and Oberding will sit down. Washington now leading Golden State by 4 in the second, 35-31. Danny Roundfield back for the Hawks. And he contributes immediately.
That rest didn't hurt him, it seems.
Griffin's a good defensive player, too. He had a hand right in his face, but nice soft shot by Roundfield.
Evans sends it to Kevin Rustani. Batted away by the tree. He stuck out a branch and swatted it out of bounds.
Oh, half pockets.
You ever see Bill Russell do that in his career, Hot Rod? Did he ever do that to you?
He handed a couple of them back to me.
Rod, you were playing with Jerry West. Nobody paid attention to you.
Somebody had to take it out. I wonder why I didn't get his shots. That was James Silence. I don't have anything more to say to you, Russ.
George Gervin, the Iceman, will soon return for Doug Moe. Jack Gibbons comes around. Rollins tried to pick off a pair, and it goes back to round field. As time runs out, he got it off, and Jack Gibbons at a fresh 24.
Absolutely. Perfect time.
And he didn't need many of those 24 either.
Evans back for the Spurs. Johnson and Drew soon to return, and on the steal, Gibbons. McElroy play catch 2-on-1. It's Gibbons for the layup.
That was a bad pass. That bounce pass almost hit Griffin in the head. He's 6'9".
45-36. Hubie Brown goes back to his bench as starters return, and they come on strong. Inside pass to Evans, fakes Chris, triple teamed, tied up.
And that's a good indication of the Atlanta Hawks. 3 guys on the floor. Loose ball, you got 3 guys going for it.
Now watch Joe Rollins. I thought maybe he would step in and try to jump, but Gibbons will.
Boy, Hubie is really pulling the strings on that bench. I wonder if he's going to substitute more quickly because they played last night. He's gone to 3 fresh horses here now already.
Well, this early in the season, it hasn't affected the guys as much. But later in the season is when the back-to-back games, night and afternoon, are tough.
Right. Never bothered me.
So on the floor for Hubie, we've got Johnson, Rollins, Drew, Hill, and Roundfield.
I think I've seen Atlanta play more than any other team this year, and they play this same pace every game. The results are not always the same, but they play the same pace where they're in and out, and they're just hustling and hustling and hustling.
Lyles back in replacing Rollins. That foul was unnecessary because Shoemate had the ball about 23 feet out. And Rollins came out and challenged him at 7-1, and Shoemate put the ball on the floor and he got the foul.
I believe the Knicks have won 2 in a row. They lead here this afternoon 42-40. I saw them in Los Angeles lose to the Lakers last week, but the Knicks are a vastly improved team. Bill Cartwright, out of Bill Russell's school at San Francisco. Looks like he's going to be an offensive power down in there, Bill.
He's a pretty good player. He handles himself fairly well, and he's going to get better as the season goes.
Michael Ray Richardson, you'll see him in the All-Star game next week. He's come on strong, one of the assist steal leaders of the NBA. They wanted Johnson inside, deflected, went to Drew, who comes up on Griffin, and Shoemate with great rebounding position on Hall.
That was a super wave blocked out that time. I mean, with authority, whip, and then released to the ball.
Gervin is short. Here's Drew now in a foot race. Silas with position. Shoemate again, knocked away, but right to Silas.
Drew has not been that consistent lately. In that 5-game road trip they lost, he shot about 34%.
Stoney sends it to Shoemate. Power move. Basically went to the left hand. Shoemate looks good here.
Really? They love it. You can hear him yelling, shoo in the background. He's found a home.
Had a great career at Notre Dame, didn't he? Haas, top of the circle. Good outside shooter. You can't cheat on him and slough off.
That's one thing about Bill Russell. You can slough off.
Silas pulls up. Hill from the sideline comes to the middle of the floor. Switches to Drew. John had shooting room. Roundfield loses control, and there's fast Eddie Johnson. Missing, Rastani battling finally. That's 3 shots that took for the Hawks. Here's Ice. Wants Rastani knocked away by Roundfield. Hill's in the middle. Sends it to Haas. A little too much spin, and it's fast Eddie Johnson. Drew, but there was a whistle, no basket.
Fast Eddie Johnson's getting a lot of offensive rebounds. He's hanging right in there, doing a good job. Even though the Hawks are not hitting their shots, they're staying aggressive. They're going after the ball. We got a timeout. They lead 47-39.
You survey where the land is wild and unforgiving. A land of hard, desolate beauty few men have seen, filling in the empty places on maps that until now have been almost unknown. But when the sun retreats from the sky, you set your sights for Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. When it's time to relax, we've got the beer. Miller Beer. Miller Beer.
When a man wears Old Spice, chances are he'll always get a warm reception. No wonder. The clean, fresh, masculine fragrance of Old Spice is a scent that women know and love. So when you're wearing Old Spice, the invitation is clear. It can really spice up your life.
Put a little spice in your life with Old Spice.
See top touring pros tee it up today at 4 Eastern in the Andy Williams San Diego Open. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
A little bit later today, Cleveland will be playing the Indiana Pacers, and then tonight it'll be Milwaukee at Los Angeles and Philadelphia at Phoenix. And I would have to say right now, of the teams that I have seen, and I've seen most of them in the last 3 weeks, I think the Los Angeles Lakers are playing the best basketball of any team in the league, and that includes the Seattle Supersonics.
All right.
There's the foul shooting.
Well, the shoemate, the foul was to Drew on that rebound play. That was his third foul. They're over the limit. As far as offensive rebounds, the Hawks have 11 to only 6 by San Antonio. The Hawks have got 13 points off the offensive board.
It's a 7-point Hawk lead. Rollins sends it off to Hill. 5:27 to go. First half in San Antonio. Jack Givens had a block by Griffin. Regained control. Rollins in the battle underneath. Evans was in there with him too. And the foul is against Evans. That's 3 on Evans.
Take a look at it again on the play. Jack Givens, after having a block, leaned in, misses a shot again, and then contact right there. Evans jumping into Rollins, trying to go for the rebound.
Johnson inside of Evans. They will probably substitute for Evans here pretty soon. Cross court, Griffin. Here's Ice. He has not had as many shots as he normally does. Evans sends it back to George. He's over that time.
They've done about as good a job as you can do. Just deny him the ball, make him work hard. That time he went without the ball. That's a secret of being a good scorer. You can go without the ball as well as carrying the ball to the basket.
Givens, University of Kentucky, played on a national championship team for Joe Hall. Sent it into Rollins and got it back. And he is hit. Who are they going to call it on? Griffin or Evans? Both of them fouled him. It's going to be on Griffin.
Oops. Watch it again. Here's Gervin. Moving with to the ball. Griffin hands it back to him. Then the ball knocked away. There's how Jetty Johnson playing him up tight. Then he'll move away without the ball, and Evans penetrates, drops it off to him, and he gets the shot. Right there for 2 points.
So the muscle underneath continues to go in Atlanta's favor as Jack Givens with a pair of free throws hits the first one. And Atlanta, 11 offensive rebounds for 13 second chance points. San Antonio 6 for 8. And it is 51-42 on the scoreboard with the Hawks leading the Spurs. Larry Keenan and also Mike Gale. Gale has been slowed by injury. He's back on the turnover. Here comes past Eddie. Missed the layup. Griffin runs it down. Midcourt to Gale. Sends it to Rastani, who's all alone. Larry Keenan offensive rebound. Got it in. The
Iceman. Great timing on that one.
Not a bad play for a guard.
That's 12 points for Gervin. He's averaging better than 30. In each of his last 10 games, he has scored more than 30, including that 55-point explosion. Tight defense, and this time it's Roundfield who goes over the top of it. Yanked down by Keenan, and the Spurs appear to be a little more aggressive right now.
They're doing a much better job on the boards than they did earlier.
Gale inside. There was a whistle as he made the move, and on the turnover, it'll go to the Hawks.
There's a play a moment ago, George Gervin going up and watch him jam it right here. Perfect timing to slam it down on the tip end.
That is one foul against Doug Moe's Mike Gale. Boy, you seldom see him in a three-piece suit. As a matter of fact, that's got to be the first time ever in San Antonio. On the turnover, it's Gale. Gervin's on his left. Gale will go ahead with the shot.
So George, you got enough points. I'm going to stop and take it.
Top of the foul line, you get a good shot every time almost.
3 minutes, first half. Hubie Brown not happy. The Hawks have slowed down on offense. Don't have that movement that they had earlier. Gale knocks the ball out of bounds. Hawks keep it. And Hubie Brown will huddle his team, and he'll get far away from the fans behind him. That would indicate that he's got some words that he doesn't want sensitive ears to pick up right now. 51-46, Atlanta leading.
Want to know 4 ways to help get better gas mileage?
Tell us, Mr. Goodrich.
First, Air Up. Keeping tires at recommended pressure can help save up to a gallon of gas per tank. Next, Tune Up. That can help save up to 2 gallons.
Wow!
Then, Clean Up. Get new filters. And Slow Up. You can go farther on a tank full.
Keep that great GM feeling. Thanks a tankful, Mr. Goodrich. With genuine GM parts.
Waiting for your tax refund to come can be pretty slow going, but not at Beneficial. We can help you leap over those weeks of waiting with a Beneficial instant tax refund loan. Beneficial wants to lend you the full amount of your expected refund or more today. It's a regular loan, usual qualification, and not related to your tax refund. Get a jump on the things you want to do with a Beneficial instant tax refund loan.
At Beneficial, you're good for more.
During peak hours at New York's Kennedy Airport, a plane lands every couple of minutes. What keeps these landings regular as clockwork is some ground-to-air communication equipment built by the people of ITT. ITT radio equipment is used by every major U.S. airport. And somewhere, somebody is being brought home with it at this very minute.
World featherweight champion Danny Little Red Lopez defends his title against top-ranked Salvador Sanchez next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Then from the champions of the ring to the kings of daredevil stunts, the action-filled competition of the Hollywood stuntmen. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Now, there is one of a kind right there. Bob Bass is the assistant coach of the San Antonio Spurs, but he's also the general manager.
So for 48 minutes of the game, he gets chewed out by Doug Moe, then he's got him for the rest of the week.
The Hawks are cooling off just a little bit. Their shooting percentage hovering around 50 is now down at 45% for the game.
And the reason they're cooling off is that they're not running like they were when they were shooting. They have to run. And there are times when you get substitutes in different lineups, the matchup makes you slow down. And it's a thing that you have to be very careful about. And that's why the coach has to call timeout to remind the guys, let's run.
George Gervin hits against Hubie Brown's Atlanta Hawks. That's 14 for Gervin here in the first half.
Now, San Antonio does use a few moving picks.
Rollins
making them come out.
Stolen by Gervin. Griffin deflected. And Griffin had control momentarily as it went out of bounds. The Spurs will keep it.
Griff's had his problems in there. That's really rough for him underneath that basket. He get knocked around a couple of times.
It's rough for everybody under that basket.
Rustani, and he hit the back of Hill, but Keenan regained it and sends it to Kevin.
He can really shoot outside. They did not challenge him on the shot. If you give him time, he'll hit a great percentage of those.
It is now a three-point Hawk lead. 53-50.
San Antonio has control of the tempo of the game.
And those horrible
where we got the lead.
Knocked away and out of bounds by Gervin. The Hawks will have it.
And they're doing a lot of standing around.
Watch the block. Eddie Johnson, 6'2", down the middle. Gervin, 6'7". Blocked the shot out of bounds.
Brownfield double team.
Now, what the Hawks are doing now is they're playing San Antonio style, and that they're playing a lot of one-on-one, and they are not a team that can play one-on-one over a long period of time and be effective.
Rustani went to the layup that time.
They expected him to go up on the right side. He completely fooled him by reversing to the left. Bullets lead Golden State 55-50 at the half.
Hill sends it to Johnson. Shot clock at 7. Hill's man goes down, and Rollins powers in a field goal. 57-52.
That was the best percentage shot Atlanta's taken in a long time.
That sure was. Here's that drive by Rustani. He reversed a moment ago. Made a nice shot out of it with the right hand going right to left under the basket.
Johnson sticking with ice, rolls around. Rollins had it knocked away from him, and in the backcourt too. So we'll have some free throws shot by Tree Rollins. George Gervin reaching in with his left hand. Bill, didn't Sam Jones used to use the glass a lot with the Boston Celtics?
Well, he preferred the glass all the time. He says you have a greater margin of error and still make it.
And Gervin likes the glass too, as you watch him.
Yeah, but he uses...
A couple of times.
It's rough for everybody under that basket.
Rustani, and he hit the back of Hill, but Keenan regained it and sends it to Kevin.
He can really shoot outside. They did not challenge him on the shot. If you give him time, he'll hit a great percentage of those.
It is now a three-point Hawk lead.
At this point,
50.
San Antonio has control of the tempo of the game.
And those horrible
where we got the lead.
Knocked away and out of bounds by Gervin. The Hawks will have it.
And they're doing a lot of standing around.
Watch the block. Eddie Johnson, 6'2", down the middle. Gervin, 6'7". Blocked the shot out of bounds.
Brownfield double team.
Now, what the Hawks are doing now is they're playing San Antonio style, and that they're playing a lot of one-on-one, and they are not a team that can play one-on-one over a long period of time and be effective.
Rustani went to the layup that time.
They expected him to go up on the right side. He completely fooled him by reversing to the left. Bullets lead Golden State 55-50 at the half.
Hill sends it to Johnson. Shot clock at 7. Hill's man goes down, and Rollins powers in a field goal. 57-52.
That was the best percentage shot Atlanta's taken in a long time.
That sure was. Here's that drive by Rustani. He reversed a moment ago. Made a nice shot out of it with the right hand going right to left under the basket.
Johnson sticking with ice, rolls around. Rollins had it knocked away from him, and in the backcourt too. So we'll have some free throws shot by Tree Rollins. George Gervin reaching in with his left hand. Bill, didn't Sam Jones used to use the glass a lot with the Boston Celtics?
Well, he preferred the glass all the time. He says you have a greater margin of error and still make it.
And Gervin likes the glass too, as you watch him.
Yeah, but he uses out front. The Sam usually uses it from the side.
Rollins at the line for the Hawks.
That is one of the most common mistakes that players make, no matter how good they are, who they are. They'll take a shot they thought they should have made, and they go and foul the guy that got to the rebound.
That's that anxiety wanting to get that ball back, and after missing out easy ones. I'll tell you another guy likes to use the glass. Daryl Dawkins, Philadelphia.
Only he wants all of it.
Yes, he does.
Here's Griffin, 16 seconds. Time running out in the first half, 59-52. Gale back to Griffin, and he is fouled as he was sending it to Kevin Rustani. And it's against Jack Gibbons.
Both teams are in the penalty. Griffin's not a real good shooter.
Oh, really?
And in particular, free throws. Well, he likes the glass, too. He'll break it from 15 feet out. Look at my boy Griff. He put that one right in.
Just like you said, he's a heck of a shooter.
Yeah, one of the best. He'll put a clinic on right here. Very likable young man.
Gervin will sit down with 9 seconds to go so as not to pick up another silly foul. Rollins had a hand on the ball. Rustani is talking to Darrell.
Hubie's going to get in on this one. He doesn't like it.
He's going to help officiate.
Look at Hubie over the corner. What's going on out here?
As long as the Spurs are going to have it, here comes George Gervin back. Doug Moe says, I got 8 seconds, George. Go ahead and go back out there. Rustani traveled. The Hawks get it with 5 seconds.
Hubie won't let up. He's still after him.
Now Doug Moe is lecturing Jones.
You know what Brown is saying to the referee, don't you?
No basket by Rollins. What was he saying, Bill?
He said, my broker is E.F. Hutton.
Send that brokerage firm a bill, will you? What is it for a 30-second on the NBA? Halftime and a look at the All-Stars coming up.
Time was, owning a car was part of the American dream. But now...
There's just no room for the kids.
The shop has it more than I do.
Oh, seems like the real trouble starts when the warranty ends.
You can fight back against the way they're making cars today with a new International Scout.
Scout gives you a comfortable ride, plenty of space for your family, and selective four-wheel drive that lets you easily shift for the extra traction you need in rough weather.
Best of all, every 1980 Scout is backed with the longest warranty package in automotive history. 100,000 miles on the engine and 5 years against any rust through. No ordinary car has a warranty package this good.
Fight back against ordinary car warranties with Scout. Anything less is just a car.
For your nearest dealer, dial 800-IH-SCOUT.
Hey, Mike, if you play football the way you shave, this team's in a lot of trouble.
It's not my fault, Bradshaw. My electric razor doesn't do such a great job.
Maybe it's not your razor. Maybe it's your face.
Huh?
That's right. Your beard is just laying there. Make it stand up with Williams Electric Shave. Electric Shave will set that beard up where you can get a close, clean shave and have a lot less irritation. Make your beard stand up. Make your razor shave better.
With Electric Shave.
You learn pretty fast for a football player.
Electric Shave!
For 12 long hours, you work on a silver sea till the sun starts to drop and you head for Miller time.
When it's time to relax,
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
one beer stands clear.
America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Next Sunday, CBS will take you to the NBA All-Star Game in Landover, Maryland. Let's meet the Eastern Conference All-Stars. Billy Cunningham's squad is paced by his own Dr. J, Julius Erving. enjoying his finest year ever in the NBA. Playing without those knee braces, he has been a devastating force. The other starting forward for the East, from the Atlanta Hawks, a second-time All-Star, John Drew. Drew has an Atlanta teammate starting. He's a guard. Out of Auburn, fast Eddie Johnson. Watch his quickness here, burn the Boston Celtics for a field goal. The other starting guard for the East, the Iceman, whom you've been watching here this afternoon, George Gervin of the San Antonio Spurs, gunning for his third straight NBA scoring title. Up front, starting in the pivot, Moses Malone, the chairman of the boards. No one dominates the offensive glass like Moses. Watch him here cover up and pull down a rebound off the missed field goal attempt. Three members of the Boston Celtics are on this year's Eastern Conference All-Stars. Tiny Archibald, the come-taker. Now, Red wouldn't give him away for any other guard in the league. Watch him dish off here to Rick Roby. And the top rookie out of Indiana State, Larry Bird, averaging almost 19 points a game. But like Archibald, he is an unselfish basketball player. The third Celtic is the center, Dave Cowens. Back in 1973, when the game was played in the Chicago Stadium, Cowens was the most valuable player. This will be his 8th All-Star game. And speaking of All-Star records, the Big E, Elvin Hayes, broke into the NBA 12 years ago. And in each season, he has been an All-Star. From the New York Knicks, Michael Ray Richardson, and what a story he has been. Almost everyone gave up on him a year ago, but not Michael Ray. And now he's a leader in steals and assists in the NBA. The final member of the Eastern cast, from the Atlanta Hawks, Danny Roundfield. Marvelous rebounder with a good outside touch when they slough off. Now the Western Conference All-Stars. In that starting lineup, from the Utah Jazz, formerly of the Los Angeles Lakers, Adrian Dantley. Dantley is third in the NBA in scoring right now. He is hitting 58% of his shots from the field. Joining Dantley as a starting forward from the Milwaukee Bucks, and perhaps the best young forward in all of basketball, Marcus Johnson, his second straight All-Star game. Starting in the backcourt for the West, a man who thought he should have been on this club a year ago. All-world of the San Diego Clippers, Lloyd Freed. He'll get a chance to put his money where his mouth is next Sunday. The other starting guard for the West, the rookie from Michigan State, Magic Johnson, the man who has ignited the Los Angeles Lakers so far this year. And Magic will have his starting center up front, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a born-again All-Star, playing this year with the kind of enthusiasm that marked his tremendous career at UCLA. At the offensive end, there's not a scoring force who can keep up with Kareem. Coming off the bench for Lenny Wilkins in the West, Otis Birdsong of Kansas City. Here throwing in a three-pointer. He is the leading scorer this season for the Kings. Two members of the Phoenix Suns, including the Greyhounds, Smooth Walter Davis. His third straight All-Star game. Davis this year is hitting 55% of his field goals. The top defensive and rebounding guard, Dennis Johnson of the world champion Seattle Supersonics, will be out there for his coach Wilkins. And so too will be Dennis's teammate, center Jack Sikma, the man who possesses that smooth turnaround shot from either side. And the second member of the Phoenix Suns, guard Paul Westphal, This is the 4th All-Star game for Westfall, and he always puts on a good show in that game. The final member of the Western Conference All-Stars unfortunately will not be able to play. Scott Wedman of Kansas City suffered a facial injury when he was struck accidentally by an elbow while rebounding. And tomorrow, the coaches will replace Wedman.
The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
Tuesday, the White Shadow puts the team on its toes. He enrolls them in ballet class to improve their game and his love life. Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS.
This is CBS.
And Atlanta forged that lead by holding George Gervin to 14 points. Also at halftime, Boston's ahead of San Diego, 61-57. Pete Maravich will be joining the Celtics this week. Gary Bender spoke to him earlier today.
One of the unique talents in the NBA, Pistol Pete Maravich, is now a Boston Celtic. Why Boston, Pete?
Well, actually, Gary, there were only two teams that I really cared to even look at from my point of view, and that was Boston and Philadelphia. And I searched a great deal, did a lot of non-sleeping because the amount of factors that I weighed, it just seemed to me, to my family, to everybody concerned, that I'd be better off right here.
One thing it's said is chemistry has to be good to be winning. Now, the Celtics are winning, and they say the chemistry is good. Will you affect that?
I don't believe I will affect that at all. In fact, I believe I'll help their chemistry quite a bit, especially when it gets down to playoff contention time. I feel that I can fit in really nice with this particular style of a game because, in all actuality, I have played this game all my life. When I played with other teams, I had to do the scoring, and the main part of that load was on me.
Now, you haven't played in a while, and there's been some talk about the knee that you've had surgery on. How is the knee, and when will you play?
Well, my knee at the beginning of the season, after being tested on the Cybex, was 19% stronger than my good leg. My knee is fine. I have been inactive for about 2 months, plus the fact while working out on my own, I did sustain a slight groin pull. So with that and with the inactivity, I think it's best for me to round myself into some type of shape before I come back out.
When will you come back?
I'm not really sure, Gary. Frankly, I think it could be right after the All-Star break or right before, but I'm not sure.
Good luck to you.
Thank you a lot, Gary. My pleasure.
And those three Hawk All-Stars. John Drew scored 12 points, Dan Roundfield 14, and Eddie Johnson 4 in the first half. But George Gervin of the Spurs was held to 6 of 13, total of 14 points. Back with the second half in just a moment on CBS.
If women shaved men's faces, we'd try to shave them a lot closer than men do, because we know all about skin and Noxzema. Trust me. The closer you shave, the more you need the medicated comfort of Noxzema shave cream. Take it off, and what have you got? Skin smooth enough to get next to me. Noxzema.
I've been thinking about the market lately.
Yeah. My broker says now's a good time to look into tax-free income. What'd your broker say?
Well, my broker's E.F. Hutton, and E.F. Hutton says...
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
From the people who brought you the Workmate comes the incredible bench top. You can put it on a table or clamp it to a chair or use it on the roof or almost anywhere. It goes up in the attic or the basement down below. There's almost no place the bench top won't go. Black & Decker's Bench Top Workmate, portable work center and vise. It turns the whole world into a workshop.
You know the best thing about NBA basketball? No, what? It's seeing all the sensational rookies in their first professional season. No, that's not what makes the NBA exciting for me. It's those real big guys battling it out underneath. That's where the games are won and lost. The big guys? Come on now. What about the speed merchants who bring the ball up and drive through to the hoop? That's what's exciting. Ah, come on.
Whatever your favorite
Big
basketball
man's
action
game.
is,
Frank.
you'll find it all in the NBA.
Quickness, Frank. Quickness.
The preceding message was furnished by the National Basketball Association. The NBA on CBS is sponsored by Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Back live in San Antonio, I'm Brent Musburger with Bill Russell and Hot Rod Hundley, and we will challenge any broadcast team in the country to a game of half-court basketball.
You guys will, huh?
Now that we got the big man down in the middle, nothing to it, Hot Rod.
Who's going to take the shots?
So I wonder. It's 59-53 right now. The Hawks are ahead of the Spurs.
You know, what we should watch for this half, if Atlanta does not run, they're going to get run out of the building. They've got to run to stay with San Antonio. Now, San Antonio is starting to play the way they want to play. They shot real bad the first quarter. Their shooting percentage is starting to come up. But Atlanta has to run to take advantage of the way the Spurs are playing. Just for this team, they have to run to take advantage of the kind of shots that San Antonio takes. So if you see Atlanta walking up and running plays, that means they're in trouble.
All right, Atlanta in the first half played 24 out of 50 shots, and the Spurs were 19 out of 40. So Atlanta got 10 more cracks at the basket, and they out-rebounded San Antonio 24-18. Rollins had 7 rebounds to lead Atlanta in that area. The only people in foul trouble were John Drew with 3. Tom McMillan had 3, and for San Antonio, Mike Evans and Mark Oberding each with 3 fouls.
Gervin, Silas, Oberding, Shoemate, and Keenan start the second half for San Antonio. Johnson, Roundfield, Rollins, Hill, and Drew on the floor for Atlanta, and Darrell Gerritsen with the first foul here in the second half.
That'll be on Armand Hill. Again, trying to keep Gervin from getting to the basketball. He shoved him away from the ball as Gervin was cutting down the middle.
George averaging 34 points a game, gunning for his 3rd straight scoring title. Shoemates maneuver inside.
That's the easiest way to shoot over a bigger opponent. I think Russ would agree, is go into the guy, not away from him.
Yes, because he's got to retreat to try to avoid the foul. But I think that in playing the guy without the ball, and a guy like George Gervin, the reason you do that is not so much that you're going to stop him from shooting, but to make him work hard for the shot. Plus, his shooting percentage will go down because he's had to work so hard.
Oberding, foul Roundfield, team foul, both of course with 1 here early. Ball will be put in out of bounds from Hill. Sends it to Fast Eddie Johnson. Shoemate on the switch. Cut off the baseline. They send it back to Roundfield. Taken by Keenan. Shoemate. And the Spurs put together 2 field goals and pulled to within 2 points early in the 3rd.
You make it awfully tough on Rollins because he could shoot out front. And that time he went to the baseline to hit the jump shot. The play before he went into Rollins for the layup.
Drew comes inside with Keenan. And Now the Spurs can put together a run of 3 field goals as we start the third period. Keenan tied in San Antonio at 59.
Shumate's the man. It's got him going. He's got 2 field goals. He's rebounded a couple of plays. And he's picked up the whole ball club, and the fans are responding. There's 10 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter. We got a timeout. The score tied at 59.
Ooh, new Subaru. Got the brains and the beauty too. Put together like a great car should. Oh, that Subaru, it sure looks good. Ooh, new Subaru. Got the brains and the beauty too. Subaru is today inexpensive and built to stay that way. Subaru got the brains and the beauty too.
Sorry, no experience, no job.
But where do I get the experience?
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
We don't ask for experience.
We give it.
You won't read it in a book.
You live it.
Pick a service, pick a challenge, set yourself apart.
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. What a great place. It's a great place to start.
Is Gillette Foamy thick and rich enough to stop this super sports car? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to support this lovely lady? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to hold up this husky hiker?
No. But if you want a clean, close shave, it's more than thick and rich enough.
Next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, see the stars come out. The 1980 NBA All-Star Game. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
And we'll see George in the All-Star Game. Bill, how many All-Star Games did you play in?
About 12.
Well, that's 14 between the 3 of us.
Knocked away. Here's Silas. And now it can be 4 in a row on this run for the Spurs. John Shumate has scored 14 points and pulled down 6 rebounds here today. The Spurs have not lost since Shumate came to this team from the Rockets. Silas maneuvering baseline. Stayed with it the second time. Needed an open man. Keenan runs it down. Short, but there's a whistle.
There's doubled up in there. Drew had him on the first play, but a foul.
You know, in a situation like this, Atlanta is playing just as hard as they have been playing, except San Antonio now has control over the tempo of the game. Now, see, the game is a series of ebbs and flows. Things work and things don't work for each team according to combinations, fatigue, and all this kind of stuff. But what's happening now, San Antonio has control of the pace. And so this will make Atlanta's shots. This will throw their shots off. Just the tempo of the game will throw their shots off as much as the defense.
Hill brings it down. Score tied at 59. Maneuvers and went for the layup. Goaltending. That's good. Shumate came in behind him, and now the Hawks move up by 2.
He made a good move. A little reverse movement and accelerated to the basket. He trapped it right against the glass.
And when you have trouble shooting, the best thing to do is to go inside as strong as you can so that even if you miss the shot, there's a good chance of getting the free throw. There's that weak side action that
off of Keenan's hands out of bounds. It'll go to the Hawks.
That Silas overcommitted there. He ran into traffic, went into the air, and he tried to throw it off, and Keenan was moving into the ball, and he couldn't handle it.
Now, the tough thing for Hubie Brown with Atlanta now is to keep playing your kind of game so that they don't take you out of your game when things are not working.
Whistle away from the ball. Roundfield was putting it down.
Silas gets a foul. They're sharpening their defense a little bit too, San Antonio. In fact, Doug Moe made that statement that they are playing better here in these last 4 wins at the defensive end.
Johnson came into Olberding, no whistle on it, and put it up there. 63-59, and Rollins is hurt.
That's Joe O'Toole, the trainer for the Atlanta Hawks, working over the big guy.
He's staying. And he's in pain as he comes down the floor. They send it to Shoemate. Silas inside. Misses the layup. Rollins had it came to him, and now they can stop it for the injury timeout when they have possession of the ball.
Our play hurt. Big guy went down there and got the rebound.
That's very heroic.
We'll take a look at it, see if we can pick up where he did get hurt on the play. Here he comes in for the rebound, and right there, the contact that fell off balance. There he comes up limping. So Tree Rollins, who's a very valuable player with this club, he's on the seat of his pants being worked over by Joe Toole.
And he says 20 seconds already?
Yeah. At the end of that 20, you either got to take that time out or make the substitution. So they're going to take him out of the game.
Steve Hawes checks in for Hubie. Nine minutes and 11 seconds to go in the third period. 63-59. Hawks over the Spurs. The Hawks lead the Spurs in the Central Division of the NBA by a game. Houston is 3 out. Roundfield turns around on Oberding.
He can do it in a hurry. Oberding is stronger, and Roundfield just didn't try to go into him. Just fell away with the jump shot.
You know, Roundfield's a tough player. He's one of the guys that when things are tough, he says, give me the ball.
And there he is again for the rebound.
Hubie Brown said that his back has really been hurting him, and he said, I bet you his back is 3 times as bad as Larry Keenan's. He said, my boy is more of a competitor.
Knocked away. Good steal by Shoemate. Gervin is fouled. Johnson coming in behind him, and my, what a defensive job they are doing here this afternoon on that man, the Iceman. Every time he turns around, he's got a couple of red jerseys on. Number 44, George Gervin.
Look at it again. That's a smart foul. They fouled him right there before he gets the shot away. He would have gone in for the basket.
George gets free underneath.
Now what George is starting to do, the reason way he's getting points is moving without the ball. Because when he's got the ball, they're double teaming and trapping. And that's the only way you can be effective, because if he's moving without the ball, then the other guys can do something until he gets free.
Danny Roundfield again.
But again, Oberding thought he was going to move to his left. He spun back to the right. Second time he's made that move for the basket. And the Hawks are up by 6.
And an 18-point afternoon by Roundfield.
You know what's interesting thing about it is that Roundfield has turned the same way every time he shot.
To the right.
So if a guy's thinking defensively, no matter what he fakes, make him go the other way.
There's a play again. Roundfield down low.
Nice.
Jockey for position. Now watch him turn back to his right. Got Oberding going left and softly put it off the glass, and he's got the layup.
Now, one of the keys to playing defense is discipline. And so when a guy gives you a good head and shoulder, make him use it. In other words, see, he didn't have to go for that fake. Say, okay, he's turned this way every time, this way he wants to turn. Let me see if I can make him what he does when I make him go the other way.
Haas with possession after the offensive foul and hit the deep field goal. 69-61.
Now Atlanta is starting to come back a little bit in getting in the pace of the game. They're changing just a little bit. You can see that they're starting to be a little more effective because they picked up the pace a little bit themselves.
Timeouts. We have 5 left now for San Antonio and 4 for Atlanta. We'll be right back.
The Winter Olympics are wonderful, but it's not a winter wonderland when you've got acid indigestion.
And a headache you can hardly stand. But don't you worry, fast relief is on its way.
We'll speed you Alka-Seltzer. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, save the day.
We'll skate you fast relief across the ice.
And we'll sled you fast relief downhill.
We'll ski you fast relief through the air. If you need us, we'll be there.
Alka-Seltzer is supporting the 1980 Olympic Games.
Foot odor. Get odor eaters. Odor eaters.
Odor Eaters, billions of particles of activated charcoal blended into comfortable, cushion-soft insoles. They absorb perspiration and destroy odor for 3 months.
I got the Odor Eaters, kid.
Good boy, good boy.
Odor Eaters, regular for street shoes, super tough for sport and work shoes.
Get odor eaters, odor eaters.
RCA wants you to see the right color. Can your television automatically capture all the subtle shades of difference between this navy blue Angel, this deep blue flight jacket, and the wild blue yonder? If not, see Color Track 1980. Color Track 1980, with 8 automatic color systems designed to lock even subtle shades of color on track. RCA is making television better and better.
You saw it on CBS Sports. 1966, at the World's Figure Skating Championships, young Peggy Fleming showed the world the style and grace that would win the gold at Grenoble 2 years later. Coming next on the CBS Sports Spectacular, don't miss the exciting conclusion of the European Figure Skating Championships. Then part 2 of the Daredevil Showdown in the Motorcycle Jump Challenge match. Plus a preview of the World's Lightweight Championship fight featuring Danny Red Lopez. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Our timeout.
Also later today, in the final round of the San Diego Open, Tom Watson now leading at 11 under, Ray Floyd at 9 under, and Lon Hinkle tied with Floyd, both at 9. Whistle away from the ball inside.
That foul's on big Kevin Rastani.
No, that was George Gervin was fouling. Was muscling under there.
6'7", 185.
Yeah, he's. I think I used a muscle this time.
Hill sends it to Haas. Score it. Basket counts. There was some interference up on the top that time, so it's 69 now.
Now, I would not be surprised to see Atlanta go into a full-court press. They're back into the tempo of the game now. It's right here is a break point, so to speak, for this game, in that who takes control of tempo now?
Rastani rolls for the field goal, making it 71-63.
That's exactly what he did. He just rolled in there. All 6'10" of him went in hard and got the layup. It opened up for him. You look again, Roundfield with a hand on his hip as he went right to the basket and softly put it up and in. Nice move by the big guy. San Francisco boy.
Now, the difference was that Rollins is out. He would have been blocking the middle on that. He's not the good offensive player that Howes is, but he's a better defensive player, so that the middle is closed when he's playing defense.
Haas sends it over to Roundfield. Keenan rebound.
Now, right now, the way the game is being played right now is that the two teams are now struggling for control of the tempo.
See,
it's about even right now.
That play, Salas took him down low, reversed, double teamed up, and shot it right back to Gervin. Fine play.
And Gervin now with 18 points. Spurs tighten up, and as Drew came free of Keenan, Lee Jones picked up Larry fouling on him.
There's the basket a moment ago. Watch Salas penetrate. They'll come over and double team, and that'll leave Gervin. Right here, Eddie Johnson leaves Gervin. Salas spots him, and a soft jump shot, and Gervin has 2 more.
There are a lot of guys that leave without the ball. He's not one of them.
No, sir.
Johnson, and reaching over the top of him was George Gervin. Caught his head as Johnson hit the field goal, and the foul will go against George. 2 fouls on Gervin. And the Celtics leading the Clippers by 6 in the 3rd period. Dave Cowan's not playing in that game. And Chicago's still ahead of the Nets. They're in the 3rd, now 91-87.
Another redhead not playing in that game up at Boston, too.
That's right. Well, time for Bill Walton to come back. I understand he worked out the other day with the Clippers.
Still some pain, not as much as before.
Rastani.
Look at the shoe go for the rebound.
Down by Shoemate. And Gervin. Here comes Johnson for the Hawks. Pressuring the Spurs defensively. Fast Eddie pulls up and Drew's underneath.
And at this point, the Hawks have control of the tempo. They've just gotten it back. They have a little struggle for 4 or 5 minutes as to who's going to get it. But these things are so temporary.
Rastani.
One thing about Atlanta, they won't fall apart. That's why they're up at the top. They're a well-coached team. They don't get panicky when they get behind.
Knicks leading the Pistons by 5. Doug Moe will be sending in Peck. The Hawks have led all the way in this game. Their biggest lead was 9 points. Haas on the turnaround. Now that lead swells 78-68. That's their biggest lead of the game. As Gervin was coming around Johnson, Eddie fouled.
I Again, that's a good foul because Gervin had him beaten on the play, but the layup would have counted.
Wiley Peck, number 54, checks in. He's a 6'7" forward. And James McElroy is back in for the Hawks with Johnson leaving.
Wiley Peck is a very strong player, a lot like Reggie King, who's with the Kansas City Kings, a rookie from Alabama. They both played in college all-star games together, and good rebounding players.
Hill with 4 fouls and Johnson with 4 fouls, so Hubie Brown will have to watch his starting guards. McElroy and Chris are out there for him now. Pretty move by John Drew.
But put that right shoulder down and just leaned into the man, forced that contact, and he put the shot in. Either he's going to get the basket or he's going to draw a foul when you make a move like that.
His first step was a real good first step. Most guys don't realize how important that first step is, because that's got to be about 2.5 times as long as your normal step.
They are leaving Gervin to go and double team. Shoemate underneath with the left hand, and Shoemate has been strong off that bench.
And he's shooting with either hand. If that's a second shot he's made left-handed, he's a right-handed player.
Giving him a total of 16 in this game.
Here's a shot.
Through again.
You let him get good position like that, you can't stop him because he's got so many moves down low to the basket.
See, in that deep, you've got to front him.
Gervin giving it up. Saved by Silas, right to Gervin.
How about an assist on that one, huh?
George had given up. He thought the ball was long gone. He was ready to retreat on defense. Drew behind him, and Peck cannot stay with John Drew.
See, that time he went backdoor on him because Peck was fronting him. Now look at the basket a moment ago. Just a second here, Bill. Here's Gervin where the ball was knocked away, and watch Silas save it right here behind the back, perfect to Gervin, and the old Iceman sinks one off the glass for about 16 feet out on the left side angle.
Now what's happening with John Drew is he's got a live one, as you call it. He posted him up and went over him so they could try to play him, try to front him. Well, when you front, that has to be a team effort. The weak side forward has got to help you out. And if you don't get help, you're really in trouble.
Now they've sent Griffin in, and Peck will lead.
They took the live one out. That's just inexperience. They've got to get Griff back in there, who's been around the NBA 3 or 4 years.
23 points for Drew this afternoon. Silas comes up on Charlie Chris. Chris tenaciously comes with him. There was bumping, and it's offensive foul against Silas.
That's a good call. They don't like it, but Silas leaned in on the play. Perfect defense by the Atlanta Hawks. We got a timeout.
With 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in period number 3, the Atlanta Hawks have opened up their biggest lead of the game, 11 points.
After all these years, I still like working out. But what I really like is the beer that's waiting for me when it's over. And if you work out the way we do, there better be a lot of beer waiting. That's why we drink light beer from Miller. Light has 1/3 less calories than regular beer, and it's less filling, and it tastes great. Take it from a guy who works out a lot. Could really use one right now.
Here you go, Bruce.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
At first look, you might think our Subaru four-wheel drive wagon is a pretty tame animal. Sleek, handsome, comfortable, well-fed. But flip it from front-wheel drive
into four-wheel drive, even up to 50, and you'll unleash a wild and woolly beast that gobbles up hills and claws through curves while barely whetting its small appetite for gas. 1980 Subaru four-wheel drive, the beast that's really a beauty.
It's so wonderful to make a child's dream come true. It's a moment of love, a joyous sensation. Ooh, come on, and have a Pepsi day. Come on, and taste the Pepsi way. Come on, and have a Pepsi day.
See top touring pros tee it up today at 4 Eastern in the Andy Williams San Diego Open. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
We are back, and the Atlanta Hawks have hit 36 of 66 for 55%. The Spurs 27 of 54 for 50%. And Atlanta still leads in rebounding 29-23. George Gervin has scored 22 points. He is averaging just shy of 34 points a game, and the Hawks are doing about as well a job defensively as you can against George.
That was only last Wednesday against Indiana that he got 55 points, which is the most made by any NBA player in a game this year.
Chris maneuvering, Shoemate shifts off on him, and they go to Drew against Griffin, and as Drew came up, there's an offensive foul. No, 3-second violation. It'll go over. Too much time in the middle. The Bill Russell rule.
Russell used to hang around in there at both ends of the court.
Silas on a runaway.
Now there, if he had a shot that ball normally, it would have been blocked. But like so many guards in this league, he wisely put it up high to get it over the outstretched hand of Roundfield.
Defense has gone to work on John Drew. Double teaming, sealing. Griffin is more physical. And another 3-second violation as Drew is maneuvering. And Griffin called the officials' attention to it immediately. 195 Bulls over the Nets in the fourth.
Somebody going to sleep in there with their tent in that 3-second line.
Gale checks in and Silas is out. Here's Shoemate turning on Hawes. Taken out by Roundfield, and here's Chris. Drew is ahead of him. McElroy is cross court. Here's Drew. Griffin with a fine defensive play, stole it, and here comes Gervin. Mike Gale turns around, and finally it's Roundfield. And the Spurs are going to have a technical foul call against Griffin, who protested the lack of a personal foul against Darryl Garretson.
Hey, if you go back before that play, a super defensive job by Charlie Chris. Only 5'8" against Gervin as he drove in, and he got in front of him and intimidated him to miss the shot. Watch Charlie get in there right here. And Gervin missed what should have been an easy shot. I think Griff was a little frustrated. He fumbled the ball and then got hit with a technical after the second missed shot by San Antonio. And right there, Griff yelling at the referee that he was shoved in the back, and he is rewarded with a $75 fine.
And Haas adding the technical, 86-76, inside of 2 minutes here in the third.
What Griffin said to the referee was, I would like to emphatically respond to that call.
Here's Haas. Roundfield's left-hand tap, and it's Shoemate. Shoemate hands to Gale. Charlie Chris going with Gale inside. Charlie fouled him.
Mike took it to the hoop pretty good on that play. San Diego and Boston, the Celtics up by 10 in the fourth quarter.
So here's Mike Gale, 8-year pro, 6'4", 190. McMillan replaces John Drew.
He has 3 fouls too, McMillan. Got them all in the first half.
Both teams are over the limit. Both teams with 4 timeouts left. 86-78, Hawks. Chris maneuvering. Offensive foul.
Oh, Griffin, they finally gave him a call. Griffin stepped in his path. We'll look at it again. Charlie coming off the screen by Haas. He'll penetrate. Right here, Griff's perfect position. He held his ground. And Charlie Chris charged right over him.
Spurs trying to whittle away. Griffin rolling, had it knocked away, and there's a whistle. McMillan's down in pain. It is that right knee, and Tom McMillan is hurt.
That's an accidental play there. Griffin didn't see him. He's looking back to get the ball, and then he turned around. There was McMillan moving into him and got the foul. We'll look at it again. Here's the play. Down goes McMillan. They call it a foul in the act of shooting, so Griffin will get 2 free throws. From another angle, down goes McMillan. They'll have to take him out.
And Paul Griffin will come to the free throw line as Tommy McMillan is forced to leave because of that injury. Sam Pelham, the rookie from Buffalo, number 41, checks in for Hubie Brown. Angelo Drosos, the owner of this team, said last night that he thinks this is the best ball club he's had, and they have won a couple of division titles down here the last 2 years. He likes this talent better than ever. It's now 86-80. Hawk still ahead of the Spurs. 1:10 left in the third. Pelham handling the ball for the first time. McElroy. Gervin was out on him, had a hand on it, and Haas with an offensive rebound. Knocked away, and he's fouled. Gale reaching around him.
They immediately realized he had the small man on him. Haas is 6'10", Gale's 6'4", so he was trying to back him in, and just reached around, knocked the ball away to get the foul.
Bullets still ahead of Golden State, 88-81. They're in the fourth. Elvin Hayes again has made the All-Star team. We'll see the Big E on his home floor next Sunday, Landover, Maryland, the annual NBA All-Star game. Should be kind of fun watching Magic Johnson try to defend George Gervin. A few other matchups, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Moses Malone down in the hole.
It won't be any fun for Magic trying to stop Gervin.
He'll say no contender.
Shoemade swings free. Gervin. George. And up over the top of Pelham with a hammer.
What a super move. Boy, that took great body control and a soft shot at the end.
24 now for Ice. 6-point Atlanta lead. Final seconds of the third. With the Knicks now clinging to a 1-point lead over the Pistons. Charlie Chris is off to the left. Here's Griffin. Last shot time. Hubie Brown is up barking defensive orders.
They're going to go for one shot. What do you think?
Oh, he won't get it. McElroy picked him clean. And George comes back, scored goaltending. He pinned the ball on the glass.
Gilroy could have passed that one off. Gervin was there all the way.
2 seconds quickly to Griffin. Tom will get a shot off. Short. So they make good on that opportunity with James McElroy stealing the ball for George Gervin. And when we come back for the payoff quarter, it'll be 90-82 Atlanta.
That's Coach Johnson. He's from the college. Looks like he's worried about his problem dandruff. I wish he'd ask me.
Mr. Owens, I need a shampoo.
Ever tried Tegrin?
Can it really work on my itching and flaking?
Well, in a national survey, 3 out of 4 dermatologists judged Tegrin's medication effective in fighting even problem dandruff.
I'll give it a tryout.
Hey, how's that dandruff problem?
Tegrin's a winner, Mr. Owens.
Prove it to yourself. Tegrin works.
The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
Monday, a way out Russian defector finds sanctuary at WKRP.
He is just as cute as can be.
He's down. And it could mean chaos in Cincy, Monday at 8, 7 Central.
This is CBS.
Get that rhythm. Get that rhythm. Get ready. Shoot the ball. That's my man.
Okay, Gabe, get that rhythm down, Dave. Get that rhythm down. Get ready to shoot that ball.
Elvin Hayes and the NBA are volunteers for Special Olympics.
That's my man.
You can help a special athlete, too. Write Special Olympics, Washington, D.C.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Basketball Association. Part of the crowd of 15,206 on hand at the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, Texas. We start the payoff period. 90-82. Hawks lead the Spurs. Givens maneuvering. Defense on the block, and then here comes Gale. Taken down by Haas. And we get the unfortunate word that Tommy McMillan has suffered ligament damage to that right knee. That leg is propped up on a chair over the Atlanta bench. I hope that is not serious. McElroy sends it back to Haas with a little jump hook, and it's a 10-point lead.
There's McMillan on the bench with his right knee bandaged up. That's a good move, that play, as McElroy penetrated, and Haas alertly saw that he was in trouble when he went into the air, so he moved to the basket and got the pass back for the layup.
Gale waits. Now goes to Griffin. Sends it back to Mike. And they just play catch. And he traveled.
So Griffin's no threat out front, and even though he had the open shot, he wanted to try and drive, and he walked with the ball.
Oz inside to Pelham. Up over Keenan, and it's loose. And it's on McElroy. His first.
He just came to this ball club. This is his second game for Jimmy Mack. They traded Ron Lee to Detroit for McElroy and a draft pick.
Silas and McElroy had tightened up, and so he picks up too quickly.
Team fouls are important here when you go to the fourth quarter, and that's the second on Atlanta. And San Antonio's yet to have a team foul.
Stolen, and Charlie Chris. Griffin with the foul.
I'd say he bumped him.
I don't think he wanted Chris to misunderstand his intentions.
He certainly did. Let's look at it again here in slow motion. I mean, Griff went after him. Boom, right there. He had no chance of getting that ball away from Charlie Chris, who's only 5'8" and a good dribbler.
Well, he gave him something to think about.
McElroy gets inside Gale and dishes off to Givens. And the Hawks run it down.
Griffin got the block on that shot. Nice play by Paul.
It's a tribute to the Hawks and their fine coach Hubie Brown that they're playing as well as they are, despite having played last night and then travel here from Atlanta. Here comes Gale in the middle. One-on-one, sent it right back to Pelham. He didn't have any help with him. Now it's Chris maneuvering. Dishing, Givens knocked away by Griffin. You are right, Hot Rod. That Griffin's good defensive basketball player.
Excellent. He's 6'9", and he has extremely long arms. You're watching it again. Charlie Chris will drive to the left side, dish the ball off, and from behind, Griffin will go up and cleanly block the shot. Got the hand on the ball, knocked it out of bounds, so the Hawks will put it in play.
Here's Pelham. Run down by Larry Keenan. A 10-point. Inside to Keenan. High off the glass, and Haas rebounds Atlanta.
And Atlanta's running pretty good, so they're in pretty good shape right now.
Chris. Shoemate stuck with it. Lead to Keenan. Rastani. The firepower is about ready to check in. George Gervin, John Drew, Danny Roundfield, and Tree Rollins coming back after his injury. Knocked away by Gale, and he went after Chris. And a backcourt foul as Gale went for... No, it is loose ball. I thought it was going to be backcourt, but it's loose ball.
Mr. Mike Gale's a very fine defensive guard. If you get careless around him, he'll take the ball away, as he did cleanly on that play. Gervin comes back for San Antonio.
George has scored 24 points. His backcourt mate Silas with 14, Rastani with 13, and John Shoemate has poured in 16, and he's been a lot of help on the glass. Here's Ice. He has got every variety of shot. Just didn't get the roll. Fast Eddie Johnson down inside of him.
That's quite a shot. That's a smart move to bank it, even though he was coming straight in, because his momentum was carrying him to the basket. But he banked the shot off the glass.
Atlanta maintaining that 10-point lead. Blocked by Rollins. The crowd wanted goaltending.
That was a good block. You look at it again. Perfect timing. Gervin against Johnson. You watch Rollins come into the picture. He'll go up right here. I got a hand on it cleanly. On the way up.
8 minutes and 12 seconds. Brownfield. Taken off by Keenan. Three-pointer off the mark.
Slightly. Now you know why he doesn't take too many of those.
It's hard to breathe that far out.
That's a long way. Well, that's 23 and 9 inches out there from the basket. And in the corner, it's an even 22 feet.
Armand Hill back on the floor for the Hawks. And again, it is Keenan. Lead to Rastani.
That should be
Pushes
offense.
it up, and it's off the side.
They're going to call foul around field. It looked like Rastani pushed him away with the left arm as he put the shot up. But he got away with it.
And he makes a nice picture for your photo album.
It's a good move. You get away with it. He has helped San Antonio. Fine shooter. Not like most people who played at University of San Francisco.
Are you talking about young Bill Cartwright already?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Earlier vintage San Francisco.
Another center.
Those ones that went up against Carl Kane and Deacon Davis and all that gang from Iowa. Hill sends it over to the left. Rollins moves it to Johnson in the corner. Bouncing out around field. Danny wants the hook. Keenan. 3 straight rebounds by Larry Keenan of the Spurs.
He wants the shot.
He's got it. 94-88. It's a 6-point Atlanta lead.
Another player that's very valuable going to the wire for San Antonio is James Salas. Very good clutch player late in the game.
John Drew pumps in a pair. Now Drew has scored 21. Shoemate and Rollins fouled him as he came through the lane.
Got the ball where he wanted it at that time, Brett. Shoemate will use his weight as well as any big man in basketball. Here he'll take it from Rastani down low, turn left and lean in, and Rollins there to bump him. Ball knocked away. We got a timeout. 96-88, Atlanta.
Okay, stand by. Roll Fran Talkington, Johnson's Baby Shampoo.
You know, when I wore a football suit, I had to shampoo every day, so I used Johnson's. Now that I'm wearing these, I still use Johnson's every day. Doesn't make sense to use anything harsh. Johnson's cleans gently. Everybody can tell you about no more tears, but I can tell you it won't dry out my hair. Leaves it looking thick and healthy. Get Johnson's Baby Shampoo from Johnson & Johnson. It's gentle enough to use every day.
Don't worry, Mama. I'm eating right. I'm eating a good dinner at Arby's.
Don't worry, Mama. I'm eating a good dinner at Arby's.
Arby's wholesome super roast beef platter is some dinner. You'll love our super roast beef sandwich, fresh coleslaw, and crispy potatoes.
It's the kind of meal Arby's takes the time to make right.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm eating a good dinner at Arby's.
Don't worry, Mom. They're eating right at Arby's.
When you shoot a lot of pool and bars, you want to stay fast and loose, and you don't want to get filled up. That's why I drink light beer from Miller. It's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling. Plus, the taste is great. And even though a lot of people don't think pool is strenuous, let me tell you something. You can work up a real good thirst, even when you're just showing off.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, see the stars come out. The 1980 NBA All-Star Game. You'll say, you saw it on CBS.
Three straight rebounds by Larry Keenan of the Spurs.
He wants the shot.
He's got it. 94-88. It's a 6-point Atlanta lead.
Another player that's very valuable going to the wire for San Antonio is James Salas. Very good clutch player late in the game.
John Drew pumps in a pair. Now Drew has scored 21. Shoemate and Rollins fouled him as he came through the lane.
Got the ball where he wanted it that time, Brett. Shoemate will use his weight as well as any big man in basketball. Here he'll take it from Rastani down low, turn left and lean in, and Rollins there to bump him. Ball knocked away. We got a timeout. 96-88, Atlanta.
Okay, stand by. Roll Fran Talkington, Johnson's Baby Shampoo.
You know, when I wore a football suit, I had to shampoo every day, so I used Johnson's. Now that I'm wearing these, I still use Johnson's every day. Doesn't make sense to use anything harsh. Johnson's cleans gently. Everybody can tell you about no more tears, but I can tell you it won't dry out my hair. Leaves it looking thick and healthy. Get Johnson's Baby Shampoo from Johnson & Johnson. It's gentle enough to use every day.
Don't worry, Mama. I'm eating right. I'm eating a good dinner at Arby's.
Don't worry, Maman. I'm eating a good dinner at Arby's.
Arby's wholesome super roast beef platter is some dinner. You'll love our super roast beef sandwich, fresh coleslaw, and crispy potatoes.
It's the kind of meal Arby's takes the time to make right.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm eating a good dinner at Arby's.
Don't worry, Mom. They're eating right at Arby's.
When you shoot a lot of pool and bars, you want to stay fast and loose, and you don't want to get filled up. That's why I drink light beer from Miller. It's got a third less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling. Plus, the taste is great. And even though a lot of people don't think pool is strenuous, let me tell you something. You can work up a real good thirst, even when you're just showing off.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, see the stars come out. The 1980 NBA All-Star Game. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Lenny Wilkins and the world champion Seattle Supersonics will direct the Western Conference All-Stars, and Billy Cunningham of Philadelphia will head the East, and will tip off at 1 p.m. Eastern Time next Sunday. Angelo Drosso's wife is the second there from the right, next to Arlene Musburger. I had to come down here and see a little basketball.
She's getting tired of her husband traveling by himself.
Exactly. I told her San Antonio was the most glamorous spot we visited, so come on.
Shoemate at the line. Rollins and Roundfield with 9 rebounds to lead Atlanta, and the Spurs have Larry Keenan with 10. Shoemate has 9.
96-90, 6 minutes and 36 seconds. Over to the left. Johnson in and out. And Rollins. And the Spurs come away. No, it's Johnson with a great save at the baseline. Back to Drew, the tenacious Hawks. And Drew for the field goal. All hustle that time.
Well, he leaped to lean. You get him close to that basket, he'll take it right to you.
Silas responds.
That's really tough. You work real hard to get a basket, and before you get back on defense, they've gotten one.
In the fourth, the Bulls ahead of the Nets. Golden State trailing Washington, and the Knicks have now fallen a point behind Detroit. And here it's a 6-point Atlanta lead. Make it 8, and John Drew with 25 points here this afternoon, showing you why he'll be a starting all-star next Sunday.
This is his best game he's had in about 10 days. He's been in a very poor shooting slump, but he's back tonight.
Rastani's open. Bolton, he put it down.
That was an obvious goaltender. No question about that one. You got to get your hand away from her, don't you, Russ, when you make that swipe at the ball?
Well, you know what you do sometimes? You goaltend, because you can't get the shot, you goaltend anyway, but that gives the guy something to think about the next time he comes in there.
Hill moves to Drew. On the fake, it's Roundfield. He stuck Shoemate and the basketball down inside.
He sure did, and the basket counts, and he's fouled. Here's a good feed from Drew. Take a look again. They obviously thought he was going to take the shot. Drew on the left side will fake, penetrate, go in there and dish it down to Roundfield and take it down here and put it through.
He said, take this, little fella.
You're in my lane.
Roundfield shooting for his 21st point. Didn't get it. Drew has hit his last 6 shots. He is 10 of 14 for the game, so Peck should not feel too badly because no one else can stop him either on the Spurs. Gervin working on Hill, maneuvering, spinning, hanging. And Roundfield, and there's Shoemate.
It's going to be a San Antonio ball. Went off the back of Roundfield. There's a play again. Gervin looking for the shot, using every move he's got to the right. The shot will be short. Rebound to Roundfield. Then he loses control as Shoemate knocks it away from the blind side. And then it goes off the back of Roundfield.
Keenan was over there, and then John Drew got a hand on it, and Hubie Brown and Doug Moe. Contrast in styles.
And philosophers.
Send it back to Rastani. Shue working on Rollins, and there's a foul. It's against Tree, who thought that Shoemate was pressuring him, and that's 5 fouls on Rollins.
He's really giving him a problem. Shoemate is only 6'9", to Rollins is a 7-footer, but he's getting good position, Russ.
Because he's doing 2 things wrong. First of all, he let him get position inside, and the second thing, when Shoemate gets the ball, a player like that as mobile as he is, Rollins should step away from him. So that, because then he's using his height. But if he keeps contact, then he's playing Shoemate's game, which is mobility. If he takes a half a step away so there's no contact, then his height is an advantage again because he can go up to block the shot. So he's actually playing bad defense.
102-96, and Shoemate with 20 points here this afternoon for the Spurs. As good a game as I've ever seen John Shoemate play in the NBA, to tell you the truth.
He's undefeated. He's undefeated as a Spur. Coming into this game, he'd won 4 straight with him. Both
3
coaches.
Team fouls on the Spurs, and the Hawks are at the limit 4. Silas trying to go with Johnson. Shoemate switches, leaving Tree wide open. As Shoemate came out defensively, no one covered the big man.
And they were a little late getting that play. Rollins was wide open for a couple of seconds before they finally got him the ball.
They could have called 3 seconds. In fact, he was in there so long by himself.
No one near him.
San Antonio calls a timeout with 4 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the game. It's an 8-point Atlanta lead. They have been ahead all the way. 2 timeouts left for the Spurs and 4 for the Hawks.
I am here to remind you to do something you've meant to do a dozen times. I'm here without props, alone, because I want you to think only about what I have to say. First, remember this number. I'm here to remind you to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. I don't need to tell you why, because you already know. If you've ever worked for a living, you know. The Wall Street Journal is the only national daily business publication. Every business day, the Journal reports to its readers everything happening anywhere in the world that can affect them, their jobs, their future. You, your job, your future. The Wall Street Journal.
If you call 1-800-648-5000 now, you can get 20 weeks of the Journal delivered to your home or office for just $26. You've been meaning to subscribe to the Journal. Now do it. 1-800-648-5000. 20 weeks, 100 copies for just $26.
I've got 2 sides to my personality. That's why the new low-price Subaru 4-wheel drive hatchback is for me. Well, you know, the Jack Benny in me loves the gas mileage. Then sometimes I feel like Clark Gable. So I shift my Subaru from front to 4-wheel drive. And frankly, my dear, it takes me anywhere. The 1980 Subaru 4-wheel drive hatchback. For the Jack Benny and the Clark Gable in you.
Coming next on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see same-day coverage of the European Figure Skating Championships and more. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
4 minutes and 16 seconds for Doug Moe and Bob Bass and the San Antonio Spurs to make up an 8-point deficit here against the Atlanta Hawks, who lead the Spurs by a game in the Central Division of the NBA. Gervin comes out with John Drew, sends it back to Silas. Right baseline.
I was telling you, he's a good clutch player. He'll be tough from here on in. James Silas.
That was a good play because they're going to double team Gervin every time he gets the ball. And if he passes, he gets the 3 men. They'll have good shots.
A lot of contact in low there. Keenan and Drew.
And here it is. John coming up on Keenan. And it stays at 8.
That was a tough shot. I mean, he had Keenan draped all over him, but he still got it away.
Johnson was down, so it's 5-on-4. Now he gets back, and Shoemate rolls in. John Shoemate with 22 points here for San Antonio.
He's taking advantage of the fact that Tree Rollins has 5 fouls, and so he's going to go to the hoop every time.
Rollins making no effort to stop him. That was just an easy layup.
Fast Eddie. Short. Roundfield couldn't control it, and here's Silas, and they can pull to within 4. Blocked by Johnson. Keenan. Shoemate, and there's a foul as he came up inside. Danny Roundfield fouled him.
That basket would have counted, Brent. We look again. Good power play. And a fine defensive block made by Johnson on the previous shot. Now Shoemate to the right side, powers up, delayed the release, and Roundfield hacked him over the shoulder. Shoemate, having his greatest game as a pro, will have 2 more free throws.
And he's starting to show it, too, physically. He's reaching for that second and third breath right now. Spurs have hit 87% at the free throw line in this game, and the Hawks 89.
They're in a penalty, Brent, so even though he missed the first one, there'll be 2 more free throws for Shoemate.
Mark Olberding replaces Keenan. Doug Moe wants a little more muscle underneath against Rollins and Roundfield. Keenan, though, is a slick rebounder. He'll surprise you with his size. He'll kind of knife up in there and pull one down. But Olberding gives him more bulk. Now the penalty. Welcome, those of you who watched the Boston Celtics defeat the San Diego Clippers. You're looking at John Shoemate, formerly of Houston and he has played a big role in San Antonio's game this afternoon. It is 106-102. Atlanta leads the Spurs with 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go. I'm Brent Musburger with Bill Russell and Hot Rod Hundley. The Hawks of Hubie Brown with control and the 4-point lead. Loose, Rollins, jump hook.
Well, that's a great move. Turned in, more or less leaned in and hooked that ball down. That was a tough shot.
This is the Iceman, George Gervin, with 26, shy of his average. On a hanger, give him 28. He wasn't even going to shoot that time.
How can you stop a man who makes a move like that? He's off balance. He just shot that ball about 2 inches before he hit the floor.
Yeah, he was looking for someone to pass to. So he said, well, while I'm up here, I might as well shoot it.
And look at it again. Watch the move. Gervin dribbles between his legs, span pirouette across the lane, and almost came all the way down with that ball before he put it in the hole. Timeout.
We got a timeout at 2:14. It's wild down here, deep in the heart of Texas, with San Antonio and Atlanta playing for first place in the Central Division.
They got out those horrible hankies. Those black hankies are waving them away. The old Spurs.
They're not going to let the Pittsburgh Steelers get away with a thing. I think they call them Los Panuelos Negros. They handed them out to the fans here. They're waving those hankies right now.
Coast from here, right? Back in there on it. The round field's right here. Here's Eddie Johnson, and here's Hill over here. They'll throw it over here, and he's going to spin off and come out of the there. If he doesn't get it on the post, he's going to come all the way up and get it. If he gets it up here, get all over him. Don't let him stand there and shoot it. All right, now look, now don't do it. Listen, if the brother through the guard double, everyone else, you got to do it. Get off your man. Try to do it. Don't let him run. That's what you're trying to do. All right, you'll go for a layup. All right, keep going.
You know, Rod, he's right about that, what he's telling me. Unfortunately, there's the white line factor. You see that white line that runs all the way around the court?
There's the boundary.
As soon as they step across that line, they forget everything he said.
There's the old chart that Hubie uses. San Antonio doesn't have as much expense money. They have to use the pen and paper. How about that outfit?
.214 and Atlanta's John Drew coming inside trouble, and the Spurs can pull to within 2.
Here's the pressure, man. A good one, Silas.
Mark Olberding. Gervin. Iceman maneuvers. Double team back to Silas. Silas pull up on Drew. It's 2.
Anyway, he wants that basketball when things get tight. Silas, that's 2 big hoops he's given San Antonio the last minute.
The Knicks beat the Pistons. Back to Rollins, knocked free, and there's a foul. It is against Silas.
They'll double up on Drew just like the Hawks will when Gervin has the basketball. They know that Drew is at the hot hand, and he smartly gave that up that time to Rollins to get the foul going down the middle.
So when you got a guy like that the other team has that respect for offensively, you've got to move when he's moving with the ball. You can't stand around.
That's when you know you're going to be open, Brent. Like Bill was saying, when if you move without that ball, when your top man's got it, you know you're going to be open because they're going to double up on it.
137 and a 4-point Atlanta lead. Shoemate, double team, went inside around field and drew the foul as he switched to the right hand. John Shoemate with a marvelous performance, 24 points for the game. and 5 fouls on Roundfield.
There it is again. He uses his strength as well as any man, as we said before. Just powered in, he delayed, he waited for the contact. He knew they were going to hit him, and he drew the foul. Almost got the basket.
They're in the penalty, remember.
Both teams will be in it from here on in. The 14 fouls against San Antonio. The next one will give free throws to Atlanta.
2 timeouts for the Spurs, 3 for the Hawks. Shumate will need the penalty right now. This is a very important free throw at 121.
That three-point play will become part of this game here before it's over, too. That field goal from outside.
Missed his last 2, 110-107. Hill moves it to Drew. There was a whistle.
That's Oberding. Yeah, that's going to send him to the free throw line now. Drew will be up there for a couple of free throws. Big play here. They're up by 3. The Hawks leading by 3 points.
As Oberding fouls out and leaves. And Drew now checking the situation on the board with 109. And the Hawks are ahead by 3, 110-107.
Foul occurred on the dribble, not on the shot, so it'll be 1 plus the penalty, 2.
He shot so well all game long with an assortment of hands in his face. He missed that free throw.
That's pressure.
Timeout Spurs.
Now we'll have a timeout. 111-107, a 4-point Atlanta lead. And when you come back, we'll have 1 minute and 9 seconds to play. And Atlanta ahead of San Antonio by a game.
After all these years, I still like working out. But what I really like is the beer that's waiting for me when it's over. And if you work out the way we do, there better be a lot of beer waiting. That's why we drink light beer from Miller. Light has 1/3 less calories than regular beer, and it's less filling, and it tastes great. Take it from a guy who works out a lot. Could really use one right now.
Here you go, Bruce.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
At first look, you might think our Subaru four-wheel drive wagon is a pretty tame animal. Sleek, handsome, comfortable, well-fed. But flip it from front-wheel drive
into four-wheel drive, even up to 50, and you'll unleash a wild and woolly beast that gobbles up hills and claws through curves, while barely whetting its small appetite for gas. 1980 Subaru four-wheel drive, the beast that's really a beauty.
It's so wonderful to make a child's dream come true. It's a moment of love, a joyous sensation. Ooh, come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on and taste the Pepsi way. Come on and have a Pepsi day.
John Drew, the leading scorer with 30 points for Hubie Brown's Atlanta Hawks. And the Spurs have 109 to go, trailing by 4.
Their fans really stay up here. If you came in here without a scoreboard, you would think they were way ahead.
Steiny comes out to meet the ball. Dribbles inside around field and rolled up with the right hand, and Rollins came over. Offensive foul.
Rollins got a hand on it too. Made a good block. We'll take a look as the move was made right down the middle. Going to the basket with Steiny right here. He pushed off with that left arm as he shot it with the right hand, and Rollins still blocked it.
Well, they got away with that before, so he thought he could do it again.
Sure did.
Whistle as Shumate came out to Rollins. Almost forced to foul it in that situation with 54 seconds to go. They've got to try to get the ball back. The Hawks were going to try to take some air out of the clock that time.
You got to pick the right man to foul here. And you'd want it to be the big guy. Would have to think with this lineup, Rollins. Why do they always pick on centers, Russ, when they want to give a foul?
They're the easiest guys to hit. Biggest
You don't say anything about their ability to make free throws.
Oh, he made his last 2. And now his luck's about run out, huh?
Oh, sir, he can nail him. Now the three-point play comes into focus very much in this game.
With a 5-point lead.
Silas comes inside the line. Stolen by Drew, and the Spurs have had 2 bad trips down the floor. Eddie Johnson, and that should seal it. The Hawks come up alongside their bench. 114-107. Now they'll pressure the ball. Gervin and Silas are forced almost to throw it up now from the three-point line. George maneuvers, pumps one up. Shoemate with a rebound and a foul call as he came back with the ball. It's against Eddie Johnson.
Well, the Hawks are going to make him take those shots, and they hate pressure on Gervin on that long one. Shoemate did a good job of getting position for the rebound. The Hawks should be in pretty good shape. 27 seconds left with this lead of 7 and Shoemate for 2. This will be 7 out of 8 that the Hawks have beaten San Antonio. 7 of the last 8 games and 4 out of 5 this season.
And that's the difference in that Central Division race. And Hubie Brown is reminding some of those Texans who head out the door, who have been on him all game long, as to what is happening over here. Timeout will be called with 27 seconds to go, and the Hawks in command. And what more can you say about Hubie Brown in Atlanta? They were forced to play last night, travel in here, arrived at the hotel about midnight, yet everyone on that team was out here about an hour and a half before the game practicing.
Thursday the 1st, 7:30 a.m. Man in mirror looks old. Gray hair has got to go. Used Grecian formula for the first time. Looks like water. No mess. Tuesday the 6th, gray hair slowly disappearing. Monday the 12th, more gray gone. Nobody noticing. Sunday the 18th, hair looks perfectly natural. Feels healthy too. Wife likes touch of gray I left around the sides. Boss says I look great. Asks if I've lost weight. Fact, without all that gray, I look like myself again. Grecian formula, liquid and cream.
Taste Sheridan. Taste Sheridan. Come to a Sheridan.
I love the taste of Sheridan's.
You're gonna love every inch of the place. We've got taste.
Sheridan, you've got taste.
We've got style.
For a taste of Sheridan worldwide, call 800-325-3535.
We've got taste.
Hey, Mike, if you play football the way you shave, this team's in a lot of trouble.
It's not my fault, Bradshaw. My electric razor doesn't do such a great job.
Maybe it's not your razor. Maybe it's your face.
Huh?
That's right. Your beard is just laying there. Make it stand up with Williams Electric Shave. Electric Shave will set that beard up where you can get a close, clean shave and have a lot less irritation. Make your beard stand up. Make your razor shave better.
With electric shave.
You learn pretty fast for a football player.
Electric Shave.
Ordinarily, you'd rack this up in the W column for Atlanta, but with the three-point play, if they got a quick interception right now and came down and made it 114-112, they could still have a handful of seconds to work with. However, you would think that Atlanta would be able to sit on it right now. They did not get the quick steal. Drew powers inside, and that'll do it. And John Drew had a marvelous offensive game. 32 points for Hubie Brown and the Hawks.
They had to overplay, and they couldn't get the ball away, and Drew was wide open, just took it to the basket.
Rastani's three-pointer is not there. Evans is off, and he ties up Roundfield.
What Drew did was a very smart thing to do, because when he got the ball, they thought he would try to hold on to the ball to run the clock out. And so the defense relaxed when he got the ball, because they expected him just to hold on to the ball, and he went to the hoop and sewed it up. That was a good play on his part.
Well, Drew's going to go.
Oh, yeah, he likes to shoot. He likes to shoot.
Here comes Fast Eddie. Deal in the last minute of the game, came down for that layup. John Shoemate played very well in defeat here this afternoon with 29 points, and it goes up 118-111. Atlanta over San Antonio. And the Hawks now, even though they have lost Tom McMillan, we hope that is not a serious injury, they open up a 2-game lead, and they have beaten San Antonio 4 out of 5 times this year with 1 game left.
And Eddie Johnson, who will be in the All-Star game next week for Atlanta, did a great job in the closing minutes. He got 2 steals, made a couple of baskets that sealed the verdict, and Drew came back off of a slump and had a better game than he's had in about the last 10 days.
You know, Atlanta played the kind of game that I've watched him play all season. I've watched him play about a half a dozen times, and they play the same way. They played a tough defense. They work hard as heck, and they're starting to be a better rebounding team.
All right.
And that's the key for them today.
Bill, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you with us. For Bill Russell and Hot Rod Hundley, I'm Brent Musburger, reminding you next Sunday on CBS, it's the NBA All-Star Game. And the NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.